Going live on the YouTubes.
Hi, YouTubes.
All right, and copy that. Share this everywhere. Post. Post. Let's see, where else can I throw this? See, where else can I... Oh, your YouTube might be on, by the way. Here.
Yeah, I just turned it off.
Cool.
How are you?
I have to leave for work. Okay. Ben Keller. Holy crap. Hi, Ben. Oh, wait.
Oh my God, it's Ben Keller. Ah.
He read about the clout we were trying to gain.
Clout? What clout?
Clout. We have clout. Don't you understand?
Cool. Hi, Coach.
Coach looks sleepy. Nope, we hear you. Send to live so that people can see the coach. There we go.
I should finish writing my... Not that I'm going to read a battle report, but I should finish writing it so I can at least remember my opponent's names. That might be good.
I don't remember my opponent's names. I remember some of them.
World Championships. World Championships. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, day 2 is probably the only one that's up. So, I mean, get wrecked day 1 opponents, I guess.
There we go. Hi, guys.
Hi, Coach.
World's winner had to display the flag.
Good call. Good call.
Not world's winner.
World's winner. World's winner.
Trust, that's what it was.
Ben Keller is the deliverer of clout. He says +3 clout to everyone in chat.
Oh, no, he is not. He absolutely has 0 fucking clout.
I don't know.
Why do you think he was screaming so much from the balcony? He was trying to get clout. That's what it was. I mean, he sat next to me. That's probably his +3 clout. That's probably the best clout he's going to get. Because I give clout. That's how cloudy I am.
Okay.
Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
You should see what Sarah's drinking.
Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. White bear mead. Nice.
Yup. It's a local meadery. They only started up like 2 months ago or so. But the Renaissance Festival group I'm a part of, we do Viking reenactment. So for like our end of year, like post-mortem, like meeting and awards thing for our group, we rented out a meadery. And they sell...
A meadery?
Yeah, they sell big old bottles of mead as well as having it on tap there.
That just sounds fun to say. Meadery.
Yeah. Not to be confused with a meatery.
What if you had a meadery and a meadery?
That would be the best day.
That would be awesome. How is that not a thing?
Should you go meet at the meadery?
We're going to meet up at the meadery and have some mead at the meadery. Meatery.
Say that 20 times fast.
Nope, not gonna do it. No, that was better. Hi, Ben. Hi. I see you. I see you over there looking all cute.
Clout City. Jeez.
So, what should we talk about?
Oh, I don't know.
Wait, what happened in the last 2 weeks? Next, probably nothing.
We have to discuss the most like spoilerific screenshot in all of Star Wars trailer history.
Do we want to discuss that?
Good
It is pertinent
Lord.
to Game of X-Wing, but it is also movie spoilers.
Oh my, that one shot, there was
Spoilers.
like, that could have just been the trailer for X-Wing fans. Like, just flash that and we're like, there you go, guys.
Yeah. Like, here's content for years.
All of a sudden, the pants on 9,000 fanboys raised.
It was impressive. Not gonna lie, it was impressive.
I'm terrified that Resistance is going to have more tools soon. Because I already hate the tools that they do have.
You know,
Give
we'll
us
get,
more
we'll get into this
stuff.
in the
I
show,
want to
but
use scum ships.
I like the fact that they have the ability to dip in that pool, but I don't think they will. If you know what I'm talking about. Like, CJ Fox in the house. Hi, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I did dance with a blow-up doll. That I didn't. I mean,
Lord.
but I slow danced. I mean, I was a gentleman about it.
Coach is gonna have stories.
I do have stories. Like, and I was only there for like 2 days.
Made it a good 2 days.
It was a good 2 days. It was a good 1 day, and then it was sleeping in my truck recovery for half the second day, and then
And
I
then
kicked
joining
it
us
back
in the
in
high
gear.
ground section, which
Then
will
I
explain what
joined-
that
I-
means.
I had a reserved seat in the high ground section, so I'm currently in the I may have the possibility to print vinyl banners in the near future. So next year it'll be section high ground seat number.
OCX.
Oh yeah,
Big ass banner.
the highest of boxes. Oh, that was fun. As I just wish they moved, and we'll get. Should we just start the show? Should we just do it? Should we go? Are we waiting on anyone else?
This is it.
This is it. All right.
Uncle Mark said go ahead. I'm not sure if he'll make it or if he's out for the night.
First of all, I am loving this screen. Right, this screen I can handle. I
No.
like this.
Last
This is
episode
fucking
was
easy.
a lot.
This is easy. I got 4 buttons down here and that's it. I don't have to do anything else. All right. Got time? Time stamp?
8.5 minutes exactly.
Yeah. Good morning, X-Wing! Hey, this is OCX Radio. Time to rock it from the Delta Pilot to the 4BZ. Oh, I fucked that up, didn't I?
Yep.
All right, let's try again.
This is not a test. You forgot that part.
Oh, that's what it was. I knew it. It was right there. It was on the tip of my tongue. Son of a bitch. I burned too many brain cells this weekend. All right.
9 minutes and go.
Good morning, X-Wing. Hey, this is not a test. This is OCX Radio. Time to rocket from the Delta Pilot to the 4BZ. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the OCX Radio podcast, broadcasting live from beautiful downtown Orange City, Iowa. My name is Aaron the Coach Kroll, and join with me today is none other than OCX Ace of Legend, Ryan on Topsky.
And still, your reigning, defending, undisputed best Ryan in X-Wing.
How many Ryans did you beat out this weekend?
None.
All of them?
Well, I mean, I specifically didn't face them, but they didn't get higher than I.
Hey, they entered in the competition. They knew they were getting into, and they failed. Failed. All of you Ryans out there failed.
Except me.
Except you, Mr. Top 32. And bringing up Top 32, we also have with us Snapshot Sarah Tessum. Woo!
You know, Satine can go take a hike because I'm Obi-Wan's girl now.
Oh, I'm in. I'm in.
After the 20 solo games of Obi-Wan I played around World's Time, yeah, I'm all in. Come at me, Obi.
Fellow Top 32 placement for Sarah. We have way more talent on the show tonight than we deserve. I just want to welcome everyone to the, as it was phrased to me, a hot pile of dog shit podcast tonight.
Jesus. I feel like this could actually have some stuff.
Well, let's just dive into it. When you decide to sit next to Jeremy Chambly and Ben Keller for more than an hour, especially when fueled by Canadian liquor, and you are on the high ground, the highest of high grounds, things start to go wrong.
Are you sure wrong or right? Because there was a lot of
Well,
right up there
you
too.
know, yeah, it's a lot of debatable conversations that happened. Let's just say there was I don't think you can actually say that in public, but nobody stopped them. So
No, I mean, we had Jimmy, yell at us a couple times from FFG.
he wandered up. The over and under for Wade coming up there was 0.5, and Nami Lee guessed correctly in hammering the over on that one.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it was. I'm sorry, Destiny players. It's just who we are. You can't.
Did you see the Destiny players in the background of the shot when Tyler Tippett shotgunned that beer? And they're all just looking over like, what is happening?
What the fuck do they have to be so angry about? I mean,
Were they
one,
angry?
you're playing a game that you get to sit down at. Two, you're playing a game you get to sit down at and drink beer. Come on, people. Lighten up. It's fun. It's worlds. Just adopt the mentality and life will be better.
But they're card game players, coach, which means they come from Magic.
Yeah,
and as far as I
we
know,
roll
you
dice.
don't have fun in Magic.
No, it's true. It's very true. Yeah, they were a little perturbed. Not all of them, just a couple. I mean, when Kalen Wong announced to everyone it's the Resistance, and the entire gallery screams, "It's the Resistance!" Yeah, it was. I thought it was great. Ben Keller, our one rule up there when Wade came up, says, Wade, can we scream out factions in the X-Wing game? He says, all right, I'll give you factions.
I don't even think he said yes. He just didn't say anything.
He said yes to that. But then as the night went on, we're screaming people's names out. And I'm like, guys, they aren't X-Wing factions. But
yep. But
we were all overruled by the copious amounts of Canadian alcohol.
You can blame the Canadians for bringing a duffel bag's worth of tiny liquor for everybody to have.
That's hush hush though. We don't technically have any evidence that happened. So, but
statute of limitations, it already happened. It's not like anyone can do anything.
You could tell by Saturday afternoon the FFG staff was like, "Fuck it, who cares? Just let them do whatever they're gonna."
Exactly.
The Destiny players are gone. No one cares.
So for people who weren't there, to clarify, the high ground section, if World stays where it is next year, it's going to be a thing again because it was just too much fun. Imagine you're at a small stadium and you want to root on somebody. What better way to root them on than by up in the stands, being as obnoxious as possible? And that's where we were. And because we were higher ground, we dubbed it the high ground section.
And we were better than everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
That's important to share.
And every time we tried to get someone to come up and we all just chanted for him to come up, I think we chanted probably Dugan the most because he went up and back down once or twice, and we kept getting Tim Dugan to come up.
Yeah, I think he was up there twice or 3 times. I don't know. By the end of the night, I forgot. Cat. There's
Yep.
a kitty.
Mm-hmm.
She wouldn't calm down, so now I'm holding her.
But no, it was. I can tell you for the 2 days that I was there, it was probably. Now I'm torn. I was asking everybody all weekend. I was like, "Hey guys, do you like this place or do you like FFG Center better?" Because deep down, I was like torn. Like half of me missed the FFG Center, like a little bit. I missed the food. I missed the good beer. I missed the tailgating or the ability to tailgate. And I can see if there were no Destiny, it was just X-Wing, I think the FFG Center would have been nice. But then the new stadium was a breath of fresh air. I mean, there was so much room.
There was
Does
a lot
anyone
of space
have-
for air,
Yes.
actually.
Yes. Did anyone have a calculation or a rough guess of how many X-Wing players there were?
I'm saying 500 plus.
Well, I heard there was 1,000 people there.
I would believe 1,000 unique people passed through those doors on that weekend between Destiny, X-Wing, the main events, and LCQ. I would believe 1,000 people. I mean, nowhere near that many in the building at the same time. Maybe
No,
400.
but I mean,
But yeah,
so
there were a lot of people there.
I want to go somewhere in the 600, 700-ish range of X-Wing players traveling through all 4 or 5 days, whatever. Maybe 700's high. I'd be comfortable at 600. But that it was impressive because there was the room was split in half by kind of a where the FFG headquarters was, and there were always people on the other half furthest away from where the main event was going on, and they were full, and there was people. I mean, there were pods going on, there was Epic going on, there was Aces High going on. It was a lot of side events. And I don't think you would have ever gotten that at FFG.
Mm-hmm. No, I think Aces High was a pretty good success. I think one of the big feedbacks I heard from side events is like pods are cool, but I don't think like less people are interested in playing more of the same 206 style games. Like a lot of people just transition to, we're going to make a pod, we're going to turn into like a bigger Aces High and just play that. So it sounds like just something faster.
Yeah, and they had plenty of stuff there. I think the only failed attempt was the chess clock one, but I think that was because the rules, as the way Tyler explained to me, you had as much time as you wanted for maneuvers or something like that. It defeated the purpose basically for the chess clock, and and maybe they bring it back, maybe they don't, tweak a few things here and there, but I think that was the only one that I heard people had, a somewhat negative attitude towards, but everything else was just spot on.
I'm not sure how much people liked Epic without the new Epic stuff. Like people may have been bummed about not having Epic.
Well, we'll have it next year, so
yeah. And I think Mr. Coach has decided to freeze a little bit. Sweet. So speaking of side events, so did you participate in any of them?
I really didn't have time because I'm local and because I just took time off from work like 2 weeks before Worlds. I unfortunately had to work on Friday. So that was going to be my side event day. So I unfortunately was not able to try Aces High or Epic. I played in like one pod, and I actually did play because it was to get some tickets, but I brought Luke and Dash.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, I didn't get the chance to really play in a lot of the side events, which was the one disappointing thing to me for the week. But that's also kind of my fault for having to work that day where I could have done side events.
Yeah. So yeah, I participated in a few pods of standard Hangar Bay, 2 Aces Highs, That was kind of it. I mean, kind of the most fun was probably the last day where we had Aces High, where it was just it was me, Duncan, Tim Hilton, Ben Doyle, Mark Rawberg, and I think I'm missing one other person there. But God, it was just shit show, really.
I would have loved doing that on Sunday, but I was too busy making Will Barnacle really mad at me.
I see a Carolina Crates koozie there, Coach.
I got a free koozie. I'm a sucker for a free koozie. What can I say?
I mean, why not?
I mean, I'm only going to push their product once, since I don't have a shirt and I've never been on the show. And whatever. I'll try to prop them up. They need some love because apparently Nami, woke up this morning angry because of his Astros loss and decided to take it out on all of Facebook.
Yeah. I mean, like if you really look at it, he's right. Like just overall, that whole big thing that I read through, he's right.
Yeah, but I mean, should you really care that much? I mean, really, who cares?
It's been a while since I think Nami had a solid rant. I feel
it's
like
been a while
needed
since Fly Betters had a 600 fucking post comment section
it.
where everyone decides to input their infinite knowledge on the internet.
So, Coach,
Usually doesn't participate in the drama threads. I really enjoyed reading through it.
so me and Sarah went over our side events. Coach, what were your side events?
Oh God.
I had a side of Icelandic schnapps. I had a side.
I did finally have Black Death.
I had a side of some wonderful bourbon, I believe, from Carson Ray. I had wonderful side of Grain Belt, half dranken by Marcel Manzano, who was shit faced. I mean, there's coach level, and he busted the fuck through that and reached.
He was very noticeably hungover on Sunday.
Oh, holy balls! That man came into the bar with soaked pants. He apparently jumped in a pool with his clothes on.
He deserved to let loose. He had a really good weekend.
I know, but oh my God. I was so happy they decided to show up at the bar like that. I mean, they literally showed up at 1 a.m. They were at the tail end. And I stuck around just to see if drunk Marcel was going to drop kick Duncan Howard.
Oh, jeez. He would try the crane kick from Karate
Oh yeah,
Kid.
he was gonna try to crane kick him, and only for the fact he doesn't hate Duncan. It was only the fact that Marcel went 27-1, and Duncan ranked higher than he did.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, they had a really good match in their top 32. Came down to like the last turn, and Duncan put on the Karate Kid "You're the Best" soundtrack on his phone to play while they were planning their dials, because he got out the Cobra Kai shuttle, and not only Marcel but also Kevin Lines. Those were the two guys that asked Luke to do a paint job of the Miyagi-Do dojo logo,
which turned out fantastic.
Both of them looked great. Yeah. So
how there's not a close-up picture of those two shuttles that hopefully somebody has it, and if you do, please post it on the OCX Facebook page, because that would be awesome. But nope, he lost, and I just remember one point he was like rubbing my belly. It's like, oh yay, I love this, Marcel. It was awesome. Now poor Kayla, that girl had her hands full that night, but it was good. It was so much fun. Side events. Okay, well, you have Friday night side events, and you have Saturday night side events.
Go ahead.
The two are wildly different.
Sure.
Oh God.
So Friday night was And again, guys, I love it when you're like, hey, where are we going tonight? And I'll say a place, and then they're like, well, they're going over there, and they're going. I was like, I really don't care. I'm going here because, a couple of like John said, let's go to Tom Reed's. I'm like, okay, let's go there. And then we just went there. And Friday night, the difference between Friday night and Saturday night was my cousin Andrew was with me Friday night, and he is an enabler. He's a Krull. So when you get two Krulls together, it's like an atom, like an atom bomb. You just vibrate off each other until we just fucking explode. I think that's how atom bombs work. Anyway, so it was 2-for-1 whiskeys all the way down that street. Like all the bars got together and like, fuck it, let's just do 2-for-1 whiskeys. Okay. And then so we started at Tom Reed's, got pretty drunk. And then we moved on to, apparently there's this trailer park bar. And one half of it's karaoke and the other half is like a giant bar that looks like a trailer park, which is kind of cool. But they had karaoke and we're like, oh, we're excited for this. And a bunch of people showed up. We had a Friday night was a big following. And we all got really, really drunk. And there was a blow up doll just randomly floating around. We hoisted D up on our shoulders.
Was it literally randomly floating around?
No, it was on some guy's like neck. Like the legs were like he was giving it a piggyback ride. And I was like,
Okay.
oh, she's so cute. And a slow song came on, so we decided to slow dance together. Camera phones are terrible, by the way, people. Terrible inventions. But whatever. It finally called my name for karaoke, which was Bohemian Rhapsody, and I went up there by myself, and then all I remember is I think Farmer and
I remember the video. Farmer was definitely there.
Yeah, Farmer and Thwoop, I think, came up. And then I opened my eyes again, and literally, I was like, holy shit, where'd everybody go? And then I looked to my right, and literally the entire bar is there, grabbing microphones and all singing. And the OCX chant broke out, like, during the musical breaks, and the whole bar was just rocking. Like, they were having... everyone in that bar was having a really good time, except for the bartender. She was not having any of it. She's like, you motherfuckers chant one more thing, one more time. You're all out. And so, like, that's the wrong thing to say to a bunch of X-Wing guys that are drunk. Because, like, we're like, okay, when are we going to leave? Because when we're leaving, we're chanting X-Wing, X-Wing.
Yeah. That town or city, whatever you want to call it, definitely was not prepared for what was coming because... St. Paul nightlife sucked unless it was Friday or Saturday. Thursday, all the bar. Sarah was with me.
Yep.
We were trying to find a place to eat and drink at like 11 or 11:30. Like everywhere was either closed or not serving food. Tom Reed's was the only place that did both.
Yeah, I'm officially dubbing Tom Reed's as the if they're gonna have worlds there, like. The staff was awesome. The food was good. They serve food till 11 or 11:30 or something like that. Always have drink specials.
Mm-hmm.
And it's huge. Like, it doesn't look very big, but there's like 3 different sections, and then there's a whole nother outside bar, which brings us to Saturday night. And so Saturday night was like, I'm trying my best to find out where everyone's going, right? And they're like, this little group is going to go over there, and this little group's going to go over there, and this little group's going to go over there. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Me and the boys, which was all 4 of us, went to Tom Reed's, and I just posted, hey, we're at Tom Reed's hockey bar. Show up if you want. And it was the 4 of us, and then all of a sudden the Australians showed up, and there was like 6 of us or 8 of us, and then all of a sudden the Florida boys showed up, and there's 12 of us. We're like, oh shit, we better move into like. Conveniently, the other room only had like 2 families in it. And I'm like, oh, hopefully they're almost done.
You know it gets real when the Florida boys show up.
The Florida, oh, God. Carlos, those guys were awesome. But then all of a sudden, like, everyone started showing up. And then the 186th showed up, and then I'm like, oh, shit.
186 is a lot of people.
I was like, oh shit. And we're doing chants, and we're just... ollie, 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 oi, 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 kind of, and it was just and the God bless this waitress heart. She just rolled with it. Like she's even in the picture, which is the best. Like she's like, and if nobody knows, well, we're all yelling while that picture's taken. We're all yelling shit. He's like, everybody say shit, and the whole section is just like shit. And the waitress is even yelling. It was great. We took like 4 pictures because the group just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then, I think the second to largest group picture got really spread around. Then everyone's like, oh my God, let's go to Tom Reed's. I'm like, yeah, fuckers, that's where I told you to go in the first place. But no, it was fantastic. My favorite part of the night, though, Saturday night, there was a Miranda Lambert concert in town. So that meant cowgirls. And at Tom Reed's, we had like 20 Brits, 8 Australians, 4 Icelanders. I mean, the foreigners were present. And I kept going to everybody. I was like, 1, cowgirls meet foreign guys, and there's going to be babies made tonight. It didn't take long until there's like 2 cowgirls, like 6 guys, and then 2 cowgirls, 5 guys. Oh, it was just fun to wander
started
around.
Disappearing.
They're like, your accent's so cute. I'm like, oh my. And you could just see the 186 guys like blood in the water. They're like, yeah, it is. Oh, it was fun. It was I think that had to be the all-time best part of X-Wing picture. There had to be 50 of us there. At least that. Spread out around the bar.
So mad I got sick and fell asleep.
You I was wondering where you went. I didn't know you got sick.
Stupid con crud. And you know what? I want to blame him, but I know he does a lot of hard work. But Dion touched my drones when I went on stream to put the color bases on them as markers. I wasn't sick before that.
Oh, yeah.
But
dude, even there was a lot of guys that were just like Rob from Australia was like not feeling good until Saturday night, I think. And
yeah, so
he was patient 0. There we go. Let's spread that. Dion was patient 0 because I don't think anyone else was sick when they showed up. Dion was sick.
Yeah.
I just got over being sick like 2 weeks ago, and then I was really sick like Sunday, Monday. It was great. Thanks, X-Wing.
Thanks, X-Wing. Maybe that's what we should do next year is just have see if we can get hand sanitizer, little bottles with OCX on them.
I mean,
increase your clout.
Don't get
the clap.
There's a high chance that this. There's a high chance that this world.
Hold on, one more time, Sarah.
Hand sanitizer and deodorant, Target locks.
Jeez. I'm pretty
sure when you spend it, you got to use it.
This world's may have had the most amount of shared dice, so chance for spread of sicknesses increased.
Yeah,
is that a thing where people sharing dice?
You fuckers, and you're sharing dice.
Why wouldn't you? It's worlds.
Because I want to roll my dice, and I don't want other people to put their grimy hands on my dice.
So you can use your opponent's dice.
But I want to use my dice.
So there was a question in the chat, and I was explaining to everyone why I couldn't be at Worlds the whole time is because I recently purchased 2 movie theaters, and it all happened that week. Oh yeah, sorry. So I own the buildings that 2 movie theaters were in. And the guy who signed the lease for 10, 20 years decided at the, when his lease was up, he's like, I don't want to do it here anymore. And we're like, fuck. So we're trying to figure out what to do. And nobody wanted to buy a movie theater. So our company ended up buying the purchasing rights to the movie theaters. And now I own and operate and own the buildings that 2 movie theaters are in. And the bright idea was, let's call it OCX Cinemas. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's actually pretty cool. And then like a couple of hours went by, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. If you Google OCX, like I kind of feel like I don't want those two associated with each other. Because we're like the first 5 or 6 like slots there. So yeah.
You could start it with OC and then a different acronym at the end, like OCT.
Well, now okay, so now I'm gonna get a little cute here. My company is called Kroll Limited. So I'm thinking of call it Kroll Film Limited.
Or Kroll
Kroll Films Limited. There we go.
Why not Unlimited?
But then I'm gonna totally rip off the Lucasfilm Limited like sign and then get sued by Disney. It's gonna be great. But anyway, that's why I wasn't there Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and Saturday. Like that's why. Like this all, I've been trying to get it done the week before, but I realized if I did it the week before and what I'm dealing with this week would have been fucking terrible. So it's probably good that I was still able to get out there. So I'm really glad I did. Because man, I would have been really pissed at myself if I would have missed Worlds.
So,
but those were my 2 side events. They were a lot of fun.
I will also recommend, even though it wasn't open late, if you want a solid dinner or lunch, the Eagle Pub or the Eagle Bar Grill. Good food.
Very good food. If you have a massive hangover and should not be up at 9:30 in the morning, don't order the bacon cheeseburger and fries because it does not look good. I mean, it looks good, but at that moment, no, it wasn't good. But they were great. They were great. I really do like that venue though because it's right now. I mean, you're literally the parking's close. It was $10.
As I say, parking price actually wasn't bad. That was my biggest concern.
Yeah, it was actually not bad at all.
$10 a day, and you got that like bridge walk to go over, or you go underneath it. Either one, both $10.
There were tons of hotels around, tons of Airbnbs, and it had I mean, granted, I only went to like 3 bars, but that whole road had all kinds of cool stuff. That I mean, if I was there for more than 2 days, there's definitely enough entertainment along that road to suffice, a whole world's trip. So I do like the venue. I guess I just miss the quality of food and beer at the FFG Center. Like I thought FFG Center prices for beer were high, and then holy shit, nope.
No, don't get beer there. High recommend if it's there again next year. The chicken wild rice soup. It was only $5.50 comparison to like a single hot dog for $6. Way better.
Well, don't get the fucking pizza.
Yeah, neither that. No.
Because man, that was an expensive $6 piece of cardboard that I ate.
Yeah. And a block away for $5, you can get one of the best slices of pizza I've ever had.
Yeah. Hindsight 2020.
Yep.
But it's a new spot, and I think I'm pretty familiarized myself with the place, so I'm really looking forward to 2020. That's going to be great.
Yeah, I guess my thoughts on the space are that I feel like FFG Center was almost a little bit more like unique and personal, I want to say. Like I felt almost less involved with the community at this place just because like I think part of it was the schedule because we were literally playing all day. And like Ryan and I didn't have time to not play. So I think that was part of it. But having like room at your table to put your tokens and cards out is really nice to have.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that part a lot.
FFG Center did not have that. So,
no.
Is this your damage deck? No, that's my damage deck. Are you sure? Let's start peeling through them.
Ryan, we know whose damage decks are ours now, right? No one's ever with us.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Can we see him?
Yeah, it's just right over here, actually.
Oh, okay. If you're getting yours all insane.
Unless you guys are paired up next to each other, then oh my god.
Damn, that's gonna be
damn.
So confusing.
The other thing I want to say is that every judge I talk to they were taken care of. Like I talked to a lot of the judges. Ooh,
Look at all that clout.
Oh, that is a lot of clout.
And
That's
the fancy print extends to the edges on the other side, like the face side of the card.
Ooh.
So you can see
Oh, look at that.
still. It's really cool.
God damn it, that's so much clout.
It's 33 clout.
I hope there's 33 in there.
Actually, haven't counted yet.
To count them when they handed them out. They're like, count this, please, like right away.
Oh God. Time to count.
The only complaint I heard from the judges was the meal tickets. Like they were not a lot, and it was very specific on how you could spend them. But other than that, I think the judges were taken care of pretty well. I mean, they worked long ass days.
They
Holy
deserve to be
crap.
taken care of. I thought the officiating was pretty darn good for a big tournament.
I didn't hear any. I mean, well, let's not say that. I was in the high ground section. I heard lots of complaining.
We'll get to that later.
But okay, we'll get into that later. Perfect.
I had one particular call that was weird, but they came back and like they were nice about it. Like the judges weren't dicks, except Victor, because you're always a dick. I'm just Big Vic. I said that because I know you're watching. Thank you so much for your judge calls over the weekend.
Oh, Victor, that was. He
Did
has such a dry sense of humor. It is the best. Like his face never changes, but like you could just know he's fucking with everyone. It's great.
Did you guys see that I called him and all the other judges over for a call and ended up getting a 3-minute time extension?
You know, I did see the pictures of that, and for a minute I'm like, wait a minute, you're not playing Zach Matthews. You're
No, it was like 3 judges bending over the table trying to complete this maneuver, which actually like super mattered, and it was during my bubble game.
Ooh.
Yeah, so like I needed that maneuver to like go. I didn't need it to go in my favor because I still made it and it didn't go in my favor. But yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely a commercial for a hand sanitizer commercial.
I stumped the Marshal on the first game I played. So, let me ask you. If you are Lieutenant Psy with ST-321 and you coordinate Vader, when do you get to choose when you can measure for ST-321? Before Vader barrel rolls or after Vader barrel rolls? Or, since it says after coordinate, are you considered after coordinated when they get the action, when they're allowed to, or after they do the action? And if Vader links off of focus, then barrel roll, does he do the position of the focus or the barrel roll?
You fucking lost me, man. Who's ST-321?
The title that says
I know.
Okay. So we won't go over that in too much detail, but they basically the Marshal basically went with user decides, and I don't think that's actually true, but whatever.
I think coordinate completes first because the ST3 whatever title 321 title says after you perform the coordinate action, and to me, you don't finish performing it until Vader's done all his shenanigans in that situation.
See, I don't think so, because after you coordinate, you've coordinated. Doesn't matter what actions they take, they have coordinated.
Okay, I can see that part of it.
Tommy, yeah, I'm not going to look that up right now.
Vader's one of the few ships where that matters too.
Yep, because it's not because like he can either link action or he can do his ability action. Yep. Are they different? Doesn't matter. Oh, because we know that pattern analyzers are precedents, right? You can link even though pattern analyzer says take one action, right? And you could still do the link, but it says perform one coordinate action. Just like pattern analyzer says one. So you can link. It's just a matter of, does the timing of ST-321 specifically matter for after coordinate be as soon as you've confirmed Vader can be coordinated? Is it then? Because he's considered coordinated? Or like a status, tractored? Or is it after he does any one or multiple actions?
Dear God.
You're welcome.
Why does that even
I
exist?
don't know. That's a question for the marshals to decide.
Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
That's too much, man. That's too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much.
And that's just one of many. Apparently, because I came back to Juris later, and I was like, "Hey, any more clarification on the rule? I know you didn't seem too dead set
Confident.
on that answer." And he's like, "Oh no, I haven't gotten back to that one. I've got all these." He bring out he brings out a bunch of stack of note cards, just like rifling through them. Like, I got this and this and this. It's like, all right, you could, whatever.
So before we get into all the other stuff, first of all, I want to thank or congratulate Oliver on our new 2019 World's Champion. Woohoo! Very impressive. Imperial
Mhm.
Aces.
Imperial Aces finally did it. Took them long
That-
enough.
To me, because I walked around, I saw a lot of the Nantex, the tractors, that would scare me bringing that list, but I can see how it made it through. I can see why it dominated as well as it did. Yay, they did it!
Mhm.
How many times has Imperial Aces been in the top 4 of Worlds and just not quite cracked it? So
Yeah, it's barely. I mean, as a triple ace squad, I don't think it's really even seen a final table at Worlds. Like, we got the Palp Aces last year.
yeah,
against
well,
Simeon.
okay, yeah, not straight up, literally 3 aces. That was ball. I mean, that was risky, but
Mhm.
it was so funny to me because we're all at the bar and literally everyone had their phone up watching the game.
Yep.
Wade's just like, "What are you guys doing?" We're like, "Nah, it would take too long to explain." But it was a great match because at first it looked like DT was going to take it. Vader went down super quick.
Mhm.
And then it was just
Whisper cleaned house.
Whisper came in with a big bat, Negan the hell out of everyone.
Passive sensors, fifth brother. Passive sensors, fifth brother. Crit.
It was impressive. I felt bad for DT because like for a second there you're like, oh, he's got it, and then the next round you're like, and then the next round, and then you could just see that there was nothing he could do. It was rough, but
Well, see, the joke going into that final for some people was Paul Heaver was on quote unquote suicide watch because he had gone to a final table at Imperial Assault and lost to Daniel Taylor before, and he would have been the first dual game champion for FFG Star Wars. And Daniel Taylor, being a 3-time Imperial Assault champion, almost did it in X-Wing.
Yep. We were all going to chant IA, IA from the high ground.
Mm-hmm.
It'd have been pretty fun. Oh, yeah. Now that I remember, Paul Heaver was definitely on the rail there, watching that game very closely. So, but no,
Paul Heaver's like, "This is my game."
That was definitely well deserved. He got a hero's welcome at the bar. I think we scared the hell out of everyone in the bar when he came in because the whole room just erupted and cheered and clapped, and he got a hero's welcome at the bar when he came in as our X-Wing 2019 World's Champion.
Mm-hmm.
I think all he wanted to do was go home and sleep.
Not allowed.
Not allowed. Not allowed.
Simeon celebrated with us last year. Ali had to do it this year.
Speaking of Simeon, and they're in fourth Rasta. Man, next year Rasta and coach. Like I did not spend near enough time with him this year, but next year, baby, it's on, buddy. It's on. You and me, St. Paul.
Did you see Rasta brought almost his entire second edition plus painted ships with him?
Mm-hmm. It's very impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
His goal was to, like, every time he would set up for a match, because he brought Han Jake. He was like, "All right, which Han Jake you want me to play?" And he's got like 3 or 4 variants with him ready to go. Like
Jesus.
opponent picks.
I finally got to see his dial covers up close.
They're
And
really
man, those things
nice.
are cool.
Yeah.
Those are. I gotta get me some of them. So, but yep, Imperial Aces definitely won out the day. Do we want to go to commercial break before we really dive in?
Well, we're 50 minutes in only.
Ooh, we got 10 minutes. We can burn 10 minutes.
Well, do we want to burn 10 minutes with more of a recap on the overall event, or me and Sarah specifically?
You know what? I don't think we really need a commercial. We'll do our plug. I have a plug I have to do, but let's do it in between you and Sarah's recap,
Okay.
and then we'll save all the really fun stuff for the end.
Okay. The hot button
The
discussion.
hot button,
Yep.
the whistleblower, as we like to say.
Jeez.
Good. I have spoken that. And I haven't had nearly enough mead to share those thoughts yet.
So,
But
That's
I
why
will.
we need to get more mead.
so Sarah, did you? I forget. Did you have to go through the LCQ?
I did have to go through the LCQ.
All right. Then why don't you start off? You had the longest days.
Okay, so I'll preface by saying I was going through the LCQ because I had not played any X-Wing between Adepticon this year and about 2 weeks before Worlds.
That's a lot of time.
Did not have time. I was busy doing like 2 or 3 other hobbies, and it just so happened that the days I had to do those other hobbies were on the exact same days as all the hyperspace trials in Minnesota and Wisconsin and North Dakota. But anyways, so I'm in the LCQ. Have not played this squad more than like 4 or 5 games.
What's
And
the squad?
so my squad was 2 Gold Squadron troopers, both naked, 104th Battalion pilot, the Initiative 2 naked ARC 170, Obi-Wan Kenobi with Delta 7B, and Broadside in the Republic Y-Wing with an ion cannon turret. And this comes in at 199 points. A lot of beef, not many tricks, besides Obi-Wan being able to do non-stressful double reposition actions. Super fair.
Yeah, sure. At least he didn't have regen.
Yeah.
I didn't need it. He got shot like twice a weekend.
The best regen there is. Just don't get shot.
And it was honestly pretty rough going. I don't remember exactly what my first game was. I did win that game, and I felt a little bit more comfortable with my squad after that. I'm like, okay, this squad has legs. Like it's beefy. It takes a long time to kill. Basically, I should just run up everything in my opponent's face while Obi-Wan goes around the back and just starts throwing target lock force modded dice all the time. So that went well. Second game. We are at the World Championships where people from Australia and England and other European countries and Canada are all over the place. And I get to play a local.
Yay. I knew that was coming.
Always works out like that.
We had a close game. It slightly did not work out in my favor because apparently TIE SFs are really cheap.
Yeah.
I killed 1.5 TIE SFs. They were the I2s with like concussion missile and passive sensors. Really interesting build, but I killed like 1.5 of them, and he killed like 1 of my ships or 2 of my ships, and I lost the game, I guess, because they're only worth like 40 points.
Oh, they're super
I mean, try cheaper. Did you know 6 of them can be in a list because they're only 32 base?
So I lost there. So I'm a little bit down in the dumps going into game 3. My opponent sends down a 2-ship list in front of me, Rexler and Oiken. So I kind of walked through it, unfortunately.
Thank you.
I trapped Oiken, so I burned him down real quick. And then after I killed him, Broadside had a range 1 ion cannon turret shot on Rexler. So it's like, cool, you're ion, I win the game.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean,
Ouch.
the guy was playing well. It's just he had an unfortunate matchup with me. Round 4. I face another local.
Oh, no.
He was running the same list as Ollie.
Okay.
Triple Imperial Aces. I had played him the Thursday before Worlds and beat him with my squad. And he took the upper hand this time, as rebound matches often go on X-Wing. The person that loses the first one wins the second one.
So hard to go back to back or to play the same person twice.
Yep.
So he beat me. Round 5, I faced another local player. I'm not shitting you.
What the fuck?
3 of my 6 matches in LCQ were to locals.
Chico, fix the software.
I lost all 3 of them. So like here I am 2-3. I'm like, what the shit? Like so Nami comes up and grabs me and he's like, "Hey Sarah, you're 2-3, right?" "Yeah." "Come play on stream." "Okay." So I faced Travis. I don't remember his last name, but he was running Ray, Poe, and Tally. And I got a couple key blocks on Ray and basically burned her down real quick, and then just I kind of didn't worry about Poe. I got him to half points and then just ran away. So I made it through.
Yay.
Yep.
Quick shout out. Just let everyone know that this was the first Worlds event that was finally fucking run on Cryodex. Chico finally wore him down.
Well,
and he was an absolute wreck, I'm sure, all week. Oh, but yay, we finally got Cryodex. I think it ran pretty well. I didn't hear of any massive repairings or this or that.
Nope.
I know there's a couple of tweaks that people wished it had, but for the most part, hey, it's been around for 6.5, 7 years or whatever, or 6 years. Can't beat that. So congratulations, Chico. From me, I know. But yay, buddy.
All right. I'll probably continue a little quicker through the next one, so less descriptive. So now we're in Worlds Day 1A on Thursday.
Less descriptive. That took you 10 minutes.
Is that too long or too short?
That's I mean, I don't want to harken back to the old Nova days, but that was like the fastest battle rep for a single day I've ever heard.
That was an LCQ. I'm going to get a little bit more excited when I'm talking about Worlds.
Okay, there we go.
So round 1, I truly, and I'm sorry if my opponent for round 1 in Worlds is listening, I do not remember who you are. I don't even remember what list you were running. I'm really sorry. But
don't worry. That's like your what? There's 6 games for LCQ and you have 7 more to go. That's a lot of
Unless it was Tommy Adams, then he's going to be super pissed.
No. So, I won my first game. Go into my second game. It was Obi-Wan, Rick Ali, and 2 Arc 170s. And I just had more beef. So I kind of just won that out. I got Obi behind his aces and then I chipped down Rick really quick. And from there it was like over. Because he had 1 Arc 170 and Obi left and I had like everything. So I took that one. Round 3, I was facing, it was 4 T70s. So it was Snap, Wexley with the Composure build, Jess Pava, Bastion, and the I1. And it was a really close game, really stressful game for me. We tied, and I lost in final salvo.
Oh, no.
I'm 2-1 with really good score because I lost in salvo. Round 4, I faced another local.
Jeez.
So I faced Alex.
Good Lord.
Local player. He's won like a few hyperspace trials and whatnot around here. He was running Kova, Greer, and Tally. Or no, Poe, not Tally. So his Poe was loaded.
I was going to say.
Torpedoes. Literally every upgrade slot on Poe was like filled with something. He was beefy.
Beefy Poe.
So his Greer comes in super hot at the start of the match. And I luckily I didn't ionize him. I put a loose stabilizer crit on him. And he had 1 health left and he was facing the board edge.
Ooh.
So he dialed a 2 straight in, but he dialed a 3 straight. So he does the 3 straight. He boosts, or he clears the crit and boosts. And then he looks at the board and he's like, shit, I don't have enough room. So he flew his 1 health Greer off the board.
Oh.
To be fair, though, 1 health Greer, he was stressed. It would have taken him like 4 turns to get back to me. He was probably out of the game anyways.
Sure.
Meanwhile, I ran Obi-Wan. I actually jousted Poe.
Oh, God.
I did it on purpose. I trusted that my five straight bank boost barrel roll would be enough to go from range 4 to behind Poe. And I was right. I got behind Poe.
Wow.
Then I remembered he had Black One with Kova.
Oh, wait a minute.
Whoops.
He elected to not use it at that point in time, but yes, he could have just been like, yeah, Poe's gonna 4K and it's white, and he target locks you and throws a torpedo. He did end up shooting both torpedoes that game at Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan survived.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I
Like how much? Like I mean,
1 health.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
there to be some smoke trails coming out of Obi-Wan on that.
End of the game, I basically have to pick left or right, and if I'm right, I win the game. If I'm wrong, I probably lose the game. I was wrong. Obi survived like a range 3 attack from Poe, and I just kind of looked at the board state and I'm like, I know what I have to do. So I take Obi-Wan and I do the shittiest maneuver possible with him to make sure that Poe can catch him, but Poe gets in the firing arc of my remaining 3 other ships.
Oh no.
So I
The old bait and switch.
Obi-Wan in the end to take out Poe at the end and win on points. It was the most stressful game I had in the entire tournament. Like between LCQ, day 1A and day 2, most stressful game by far, because I had to literally sacrifice Obi to the gods just to win the game.
That's a big risk.
So well played, Alex. I'm sorry that Worlds didn't go your way. I didn't hand him his second loss, but I did hand him his second loss, and then it's just hard to bounce back from that.
Yeah, that's tough.
Round 5, I faced Tom Harper, one of the Australians. He was running Tavison Kylo Quick Draw. Kylo is one of those ships I just kind of have to punt to because he's always going to have a bid, so he's always moving after Obi. I basically have to accept the fact I'm never going to even take a shot at Kylo, because even if I get him in my sights, it's not worth it. So I started on Quick Draw, then went into Tavison. Last turn of the game comes up. I'm down by a few points. One of my Torrents or an Arc 170 or something finishes off Tavison. So I'm now winning the game. And then he had a shot from one of his ships to finish off that generic. So then he won by 5 points. So we had several lead changes in the last 2 turns.
Good Lord.
So he won. I'm sitting at 2 losses and real sad. Round 5. Ace of Graph comes up to me.
Oh, Ace of
Sarah,
Graph.
you want to be on stream? And I'm like, sure, I don't know who my opponent is. And he said, the Greedy Dragon D-Yoon.
Get him.
Yes, please.
Dropped because even if I lost the game, it'd probably be one of the most fun games of X-Wing I ever played. I recommend everyone go watch this game. Round 6 of Worlds against D-Yoon. It was the most bonkers game I played. Broadside, ioned the shuttle in 1 shot.
Oh.
He was playing Redline, Lieutenant Cyan, Vader.
Mm-hmm.
I did my opening way differently with Obi-Wan because Vader with Afterburners is a really scary thing. So I usually set Obi in the same corner as my squad and fly him out in front of my squad. So I have a 2-prong pincer attack going. On this one, I set Obi in the opposite corner and just 1 bank barrel roll, 1 bank barrel roll for the first 3 turns to make Vader either commit on me or pass me. So he passed me. He went all in on my Arc 170. So Redline shoots a torpedo. Vader takes a shot. Sai takes a shot. The Arc 170 rolls. Natty evade, natty evade, natty evade, survives with 1 health.
Jesus.
Oh, shit.
So then Broadside ions the shuttle in 1 shot. With ability and a focus token, I get 4 hits. D blanks out on the shuttle.
Large base ioned in 1 shot.
All 3 tokens.
Good God.
Then my beef starts shooting at Redline. I get him down to 3 health, and my Arc 170, my angry Arc 170, with 1 health left, takes a shot. Triple crits.
Jesus. The triple crit.
So Redline blanks his defense die. And I was I thought it was funny, but I didn't start laughing until I heard the commentary team erupt laughing from this. I pissed myself at the table because it was so damn funny. So it got even more obnoxious from there. The next turn, I ioned the shuttle again,
Jesus.
and it almost went off the board. I didn't quite walk it off the board, but it was close. Ended up being a much closer game than I would have been comfortable with, considering my good opening, because Vader started doing work.
Peter
Yeah.
does those things.
I ultimately won because D dialed a 3-turn instead of a 2-turn, and he used like a lieutenant side coordinate to barrel roll. So he completed a maneuver in front of my torrent, who had range 1 with target lock. Vader couldn't shoot the torrent, and Vader couldn't barrel roll because he already had before he moved.
Oh no.
So my torrent killed Vader at range 1. Yeah. So well
Dark
played,
Lord of the
Andy.
Sith, my
I'm sorry.
ass.
I love you.
Oh, that's funny.
Mm-hmm. All right, so on to round 7. This is my bubble game. I'm still in contention for day 2. I'm getting real nervous. My opponent, I don't remember his name, but he was playing the same list as Daniel Taylor. So he was playing the Braylon, Jake,
Yeah.
Lieutenant Blount, Bandit Squadron, and Wedge. I saw the list and I was terrified. I almost shit myself. No, it was literally like, hey, I see your jousting list. My jousting list is better. Wedge isn't quite as good of a flanker as Obi-Wan, just because Obi-Wan is the double reposition. But his jousting ability is so
it's
stronger
so
than
good. It's so good.
Like, what if I
had-
always got to shoot and you got net minus agility?
Mm-hmm.
I had a really fortunate engagement. I was able to judge the range on our engagements really well. So I made sure that Lieutenant Blount was nowhere near me. I made sure that Wedge only had one target and would get shot if he came in on this target, etc. So his Wedge comes up and exchanges range 1 shots with my Arc 170. So I take like 3 damage and I put 3 onto him. And one of them was like a loose stabilizer. So we actually had to go straight past the fight the next turn, which straight up probably won me the game. He had 1 health left at that point, so he couldn't turn. He had to go straight. So my list, I just turned everything in on Braylon and the Z95s and Jake and just shredded them down. It was a much closer game than I wanted it to be. When it got down to the end of the game, if he finished off one of my 2 remaining torrents, he actually won the game.
Mm-hmm.
But because of my positioning, I was able to 4 straight barrel roll, and just kind of get out of there. So then I made day 2.
Yay!
Ooh.
Day 2.
So
Jesus,
day 2,
that's a lot of fucking X-Wing.
round 1.
What day did you play?
Thursday.
You played, so you went LCQ Thursday break, and then played day 2.
LCQ Wednesday.
Yeah.
No, I know. You went Wednesday, Thursday break,
Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday.
and then said, okay.
But I had to be at work on Friday, so I didn't really get a break.
Ugh.
So round 1 of day 2, which was like top 90 or something, just because the buy system. Round 2 was going to be top 64, so round 1 was kind of eh.
Yeah, I mean, I think the final list right here I have from List Fortress is there were 98 players.
Mm-hmm.
But there was supposed to be a top 64.
Well, so it was a top
Second round of day 2 would be top 64.
Yeah. So
Oh,
the first
gotcha.
round is technically top 128 with 30 people getting buys.
Yep.
Sure. Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
So, and I had a premonition about this matchup. No, I truly did. I woke up in the morning on Saturday and I thought to myself, I'm gonna have to fucking face Tom Harper again, aren't I? I get to the FFG or the FFG Center, Wilkins Auditorium, see the pairings. Yeah,
Fucking Tom Harper, baby.
it's Tom Harper again. So we sit down at the table. We both know the thing where the person that loses the first match probably wins the second match. So we both kind of were leaning towards me winning at the beginning. I took a different strategy this time, and I burned down Tavison really quickly. All right, kids. So
That
here's
helps.
about how turn 0 works. We're setting up
Ooh.
obstacles, okay? I have my last obstacle to place, and I look at the board and I'm like, you've set up a Tavison lane. And he's like, yeah. So we point, like, we both acknowledge where his Tavison lane is. This lane is set up for him to set in his right-hand corner. So I set my last obstacle. I set my entire squad in my left-hand corner, and I say, joust me. He sets Tavison in his left-hand corner, and his lane is gone.
Oh
He set
my.
up his Tavison lane, assuming I was going to set in my right-hand corner, because most people do.
Yeah.
But I caught onto it and set in the left-hand corner, and his choice at that point is to not joust me and not have a specific turnaround lane for Tavison, or joust me and lose the game.
Look at you.
Zero rock placement is super important, especially when you have ships like Tavison, who need to have their actions.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to get Obi-Wan behind Tavison on the third turn of the game. So 5 straight boost, 3 bank boost, 5 straight boost. He's an arc.
Oh my god. Yeah. He's out.
And I just straight jousted Tavison and burned him down to 1 health in 2 turns. He ran away. I turned it on quick draw, burned quick draw down. His quick draw on Kylo, I failed a kill box on quick draw, and then the kill box was effectively reversed on Obi-Wan. So Obi-Wan took a range 1 shot from quick draw and a range 1 shot from Kylo Ren.
Eee.
And survived with like 2 health left or something.
I was about to say he better have gotten at least half on him.
Better freaking
but he
put those green dice in a case or something like that.
Yeah. So the next turn, I ended up finishing off quick draw because quick draw was burning on fire at that point. I just had too much beef, and then I finished off Tavison on the last turn of the game to win the game. So on to top 64. Top 64, I faced Tom Traz. He had a separatist swarm. It was a little bit weird. Let me find it here.
I was going to say, you can keep going. I have List Fortress up.
So he had a Pheathan Ultra Pilot, which is the generic Bellabub with TA 175 on it. A second generic with nothing. Captain Sear with Soulless 1. A Bactoid prototype with passive sensors, landing struts, and diamond boron missiles. And then 2 Trade Federation drones with grappling struts. So kind of a Federation salad.
Yeah, definitely.
So the way he set it up is he basically rushed to the rocks in the middle of the board and grappling struts them and said, "Come at me, bro." Because he had his diamond boron missiles, which are kind of terrifying against my squad. So I ended up setting up the engage right. I did pick the wrong direction because I had to predict if he was going to struts and rotate left or stay put. And I picked the wrong one. But he diamond boroned my Arc 170, which meant that my Arc 170 and Broadside were the only ones that had to like roll the extra damage die from the missile effect. So I ended up getting the upper hand on the engagement. Game continues. I start picking off ships. We get to very little time remaining, and I've got like a torrent and a half, and then like half of Broadside and Obi-Wan left, and I've only killed 2 ships of his. And I straight up do not know the points right now in this game. I straight up have no clue who's winning because the game has been so like hectic since the start. I didn't have time to math it because he actually set his dials pretty quick for a swarm player.
No, it was 6 ships.
And
yeah.
And there were also a couple rules questions I had during the game, which made me want to pay attention to how he was playing rather than totaling points. And I'll touch on that after the game. I don't think it was intentional by this player, but definitely went in his favor a couple times. So we get to basically 30 seconds left with like a shot left in the round. And I kind of like rushed us through the round so we could get another turn. And right as time was called, I slapped Obi-Wan's dial down, and I'm like, we're in the next turn. So we effectively have unlimited time for this next turn. So the first thing we do is total points. I was winning by 3 points.
But
So-
almost wreck yourself.
Sucks to be me, but also I wouldn't have been able to live with myself if I let the game end there and not knew if I was ahead or not. Because if I ended up being down by 3 points when I chose not to put a dial down, I would not be able to forgive myself.
That would have sucked.
I did calculate it because Obi-Wan was at least going to be able to take a shot at something next round and half points it potentially. So I slap my dial down, find out we're winning by 3. We do our maneuvers. Obi-Wan has to do a 1-turn boost target lock on one of the full trade fed drones who is on a rock. and he is almost definitely going to kill my half points torrent, so he's going to get 12 points. So half of that trade fed drone is 10 points. I take a range 2 target lock force obstructed shot on the trade fed drone and get 3 hits. He rolls evade blank blank. So I take half points. And at that point, Tommy was standing right next to me. I turn to Tommy and I say, Tommy, I've just won the game. He's like, wait, are you sure? And I'm like, no, I've just won. And my opponent, Tom, like didn't realize like the points discrepancy that I've just won by a point. So he,
oh my God.
He thought he had won.
Oh no.
I like kind of felt bad, but I'm like, dude, we need to total the points. I was up by 3. You got 12 and I got 10. I won by a point. I'm sorry.
Was this one on stream?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So
the trader in the chat wants to know.
So I won.
Love you, Michael.
There were a few rules things that didn't work in my favor that would have made it easier. The first is I would have to rewatch the stream, but I asked Ryan and Josh and Tommy this morning how TA is supposed to time with initiative windows. So as far as I can remember, my opponent in this game, as soon as I killed the ship carrying TA, he immediately slapped down the calculate tokens instead of waiting till the end of the initiative order or initiative value.
Correct.
Like I said, I'd have to rewatch the stream because maybe I was shooting with broadside and killed him and that was my only ship at that initiative. But since I have 3 ships at initiative 2, that timing window is actually super important. Because if my first I2 ship kills something, the other 2 still get to shoot without those calculates getting thrown down.
Yep.
So I'd have to double check that. Maybe it worked. Maybe he did it right. Maybe he didn't. The other one was later in the game, I wanted to take a shot with Obi-Wan on a trade fed drone, but only if the shot wasn't obstructed. And I couldn't tell by eyeballing it. So I asked a judge, when I activate a ship and I'm measuring range to targets, do I have the right to know for a fact if it's obstructed or not before I commit to that target? Can I ask you to check obstruction? And if it's obstructed, choose to pick another target. And they said, no, once you get to the point of checking obstruction, you have to commit to that target. I had 2 judges after the game come up to me and tell me they were wrong and apologized.
Okay.
But yes, apparently you have the right to have a judge tell you if your shot's obstructed or not before deciding to shoot there. So the third one is my opponent rock hopped with his grappling struts. So he left a rock with a 2 straight and landed on another rock and like didn't roll for rock damage. And he took his action and everything like that.
Incorrect.
It's a really weird interaction. Like you roll for the rock damage, but you can still take an action, but you can't shoot or something. Like
no.
That sounds like a cobbled mess, right?
As soon as you complete a maneuver, you have flipped those struts closed.
And that's
they don't open again.
That's what I thought. I asked during the game too, and he said that's the way I've always played it. And it's not that I believed him, it's that we had 3 minutes left in the game, and I didn't want to judge call and waste time when I didn't know if I was winning or not. It didn't matter because if I knew that trade fed drone couldn't shoot that turn, I wouldn't have had to run Obi-Wan away. I could have turned him right in because I ended up boosting out of combat. I could have boosted right in and
shot at him,
handily. So that one sucked, but I still got it. Round 32 or top 32. This is unfortunately where my run comes to an end. All the way from LCQ up to top 32.
And who do you face?
I face
one fucking A.
Local.
That's a pretty. Oh, you faced a local.
I faced the only other Minnesotan up in the top 32. There were a few of us that made it today too, because I know Kevin made it, for example, and Jeremy Seward made it, who beat me in the LCQ. So yeah, we face each other. I look at his squad list, and I almost felt like conceding right there. It was a separatist drone swarm where most of them were at initiative 3.
Oh,
beats out the 2s.
The bulk of my list is at initiative 2.
Ooh.
I knew it was going to be probably the hardest game of X-Wing I've ever played if I try to win it, and I did try to win it so hard. I barrel rolled my ARC 170 behind a debris cloud so that his shots on the opening engagement would at least be obstructed. and he still initiative killed my Arc 170.
Oh,
He had because I think it was five drones shooting at I3, maybe 6.
Ooh.
Wait a minute. 5. Jeez.
Yeah, there's like no upgrades in the squad at all.
I
It's
know.
a killer squad. Like it was a really good meta call. So I think he did a really good job with that squad.
Well, so side tangent on this. Me and Travis had discussed a lot about separatist swarms.
The Johnson?
Correct. And we actually came to the determination I3 did not matter as much. It just probably in the matchup against you was very good for him. Because basically all the separatist drones were there for was to deal with sinker swarms, and they're just they were there, but they're not there enough for it to matter. And I1 tends to be a bigger benefit.
Yep. So yeah, he had 6 separatist drones, Captain Seer with Solus 1 and Kraken, and then a trade fed drone.
Yeah, he chose Kraken instead of TA.
Yep. And I the first mistake I made was I picked the speed of his engagement wrong. So on our first engage, I thought he was going to try the 2 or the 3 straight, and he went 4 straight with most. So I was pinning for him shooting range 3 obstructed at the Arc 170 with maybe 3 to 4 ships. He shot it with like 6 ships, and a few of those shots were at range 2.
You got fucking Roger.
And I rolled a couple of focus results on, or I rolled a couple of aids or something on my first evade dive. But of course, because I was stressed, I barrel rolled. I didn't have a focus. The next like 5 defense rolls in a row were all focus results. I got nothing but paint, but the wrong paint. And the arc just went down before it even shot. And at that point, I pretty much lost the game.
Yeah, holy crap. I'm doing the X-Wing dice calculator right now. Like an Arc 170 with 1 defense dice, obstructed shot with 2 attack dice, and just it doesn't have calcul in there, but focus, so it's even higher odds. The expected amount of shots it's needed to kill that arc is 11.
Yeah. I did not say this to my opponent because I think it's rude to complain about your dice while you're playing.
Good call.
He acknowledged during the game that he diced me on that opening engagement. It wasn't so bad later in the game, but yeah, he got like hit crit on almost every roll, and the first crit to go on the arc was a hull breach.
Ooh.
I took the hull breach and then like 5 crits and just burned down super quick.
Yeah, he hit the 3% chance of doing that damage.
That said, even if that arc shot once that game, it was an unmodified shot. I probably wouldn't have taken something down. Like it was still a long shot of me winning, but it would have helped if my arc survived. So next turn, I lose a torrent. The turn after, I lose broadside. Yeah, he 1-rounded broadside with like 5 shots.
So
the round after that took out my other torrent. So it was literally Obi-Wan versus his entire list minus like 1 ship. I had taken out like 1 or 2 ships at that point. And at that point, I mean, the game was over. I was just playing to do fun things with Obi-Wan. And I was. He didn't get blocked a single time. I had to boost him barrel roll almost every turn. And it got to the point where it's like, maybe if I kill like 3 or 4 of these things, I have a chance. Because it was like 20 minutes left in the game. And Obi was like dancing, and I was pinging damage on him. So I finally get in a position to take some range 1 shots. 4 blanks. Yep. I rolled 4 blank dice.
I believe I walked into the auditorium, and before I could even make it like 15 feet, I had 3 people come up to me like, dude, Sarah got fucking hosed. And like, I think the best comment was even the commentators on the stream were like, you could feel the pain from them.
I watched the game after, and they were like,
and they were sick, like almost sick at the dice variance.
Yeah. I think it was disappointment that this game could have been a lot better and a lot closer than it was, regardless of which way it went. Because I'm sure if I crushed Paul to that extent, they would also be like crushed and sad while commentating too. Because it sucks to have to put 2 locals against each other in top 32. Like,
yeah,
what the shit? Like, we should both like make it to top 16, right?
That should be one of those where it's like, okay, quick change.
Yeah, so it just wasn't my game. It's really unfortunate that a matchup like that happens when I'm deep in the cut versus like day 1 Swiss, where I can recover from it. It just sucks to hit that counter to your list and get hosed a little bit on day 30 or top 32.
Hey,
Paul's a great opponent, great guy,
top
great
32.
player. If I could pick anyone in that top 32 to beat me in the fashion that Paul beat me, it'd be Paul.
Maybe Paul.
If it was
that's
a
nice.
random person that beat me in that fashion, I would,
I think there'd be a bitter Sarah.
yep, exactly. So there were tears. I felt bad. I mean, we hugged. Like, I have nothing against him as a player, and I was really happy he was able to make it up to top 8. Of course, I would have preferred I was in that position, but maybe next year. So,
yeah.
Thus ends my Worlds run, starting
Always next year.
LCQ, going up to top 32.
Woot.
That seems like a good commercial break time.
Well, we're just gonna do, unless you guys got, we'll just.
I'm
gonna bust right into this. Hey guys, so I know you all loved the Curl Paw Creatives commercial. I did too. I had a great time making it. But I really haven't seen any love kicked back in the way of my self-inflicted percentage off that I'm supposed to get a curled paw. So here at OCX, we're not afraid to go, sorry, Andrew, but fuck off. Because we got a new one, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to let everyone know that your senior resident Padre has taken over Sling Paint. Yes, you heard that right. Padre is in charge of Sling Paint. So, oh my goodness, watch out. Everyone, Katie bar the doors. But guys, I have something very special for all of you OCX listeners. If you order anything from Sling Paint and you type in OCX10 as a promo code, you all will get 10% off. Boom. There.
Boom.
It's done. Mike dropped 10% off. All of Sling Paint. Tokens. I just saw there's a tray out there, I believe.
Tokens, and more tokens, all of customized styles. Feel free to get them at 10% off.
I'm gonna poke a little fun at Patrick because he threw up. Did anyone else see how he spelled recon? It was like Recon. Just testing out some Recon tokens. I'm like, that's funny. So if you guys see Patrick or Padre, first of all, it's not Recon Specialist anymore. It's Recon. But guys, go order yourself some tokens. 10% off. Promo code OCX10. That's OCX10. Type it in. Get them done. Curled Paw is old news. Nobody plays with Curl Paw anymore except for the big wigs, and we're not big wigs except for these two here who made top 32 in the world. But I can guarantee you guys, if you want top of the line X-Wing tokens, head on over to Sling Paint. Put in the promo code OCX10. That's OCX10. You guys will get 10% off every order. Boom. Still love you, Andrew, but I'm a Sling Paint boy.
Even Sir George mentioned that Sling Paint's how they found out about X-Wing.
Really?
Watching the Friday Night Flight stream and heard someone talking about their upcoming tournament.
Sling Paint has been around forever. Forever. And Fly Better can say, ooh, we've got Ahsoka Tano's voice and we've got Captain Rex's voice. They never had fucking Snap Wexley literally call them out on a YouTube video. So, hey, Padre, when you get Snap Wexley on for your next commercial, let me know, because I'm a huge fanboy of that guy.
that guy.
He's always going to be Snap to me. But once again, guys, Sling Paint tokens, OCX10 is the promo code. You will get 10% off. I'm working on Padre. I'm really working on him hard. Hopefully we can get a 20% off promo code one of these days.
Oh, there. It's not Black Friday yet.
Maybe when Coach wins a store championship, maybe in honor of my very first store championship, because they're back, baby. That's right. Store championships are coming back, and I've never won one because of fucking Kyle. But I've buried that hatchet. Anyway. Maybe in the future we'll work them into a 20% off. Personal note from Patrick: don't post stuff right before bed. What are you talking about? I do this whole show right before bed. Oh, anyway, once again, OCX promo code OCX10, 10% off all sling paint tokens. I think it's 10% off everything, but I think they're just doing the tokens for right now. Sky's the limit for Padre. Everybody knows he has a lot of time on his hands. So
He says he's been very busy with it, though.
if someone's going to take it over, it might as well be Padre. I mean, the guy's got the love, he's got the talent, he's got the wherewithal. He's gonna put his whole heart into it, and they're gonna come out great. So I'm really, really excited.
And you never know, one of your other favorite games may also be getting some token love by Recon Tokens.
Oh, pray tell.
Oh, he just has a lot of other mainstream games in mind to make tokens for.
Are you talking BattleTech?
I don't know. You have to ask him yourself.
Padre, I need a BattleTech. I need BattleTech tokens. We'll get in on this. We'll mind meld. We'll talk tomorrow. Maybe. We'll see. But anyway, we don't only have just one top 32 participant here. We have two top 32 participants here. Can I just say that I think OCX did very, very well during Worlds?
If I look at the podcasts, I think the only podcast to do better than OCX was 186, obviously.
Well, I mean, that skews it pretty hard when you win the whole thing.
Correct. Now Marcel got top 32. Okay, that's a gold squad. All right. And then as we start scrolling
I also
down,
beat Marcel in the first chance qualifier, so curb stomped. OCX is better. I beat him with my
that's what he was telling me about when he was rubbing my belly. He's like, "Oh man, Sarah beat me so hard." It's like, "Oh, that's nice, Marcel."
Scum and villainy, curb stomped. Fly better, curb stomped. Radio TCX, curb stomped. Sorry, dude. Person.
Get wrecked, podcast community. Jesus, I didn't even have to show up.
It was a really hard world. It was.
That's what I heard. It was extremely tough.
So having two people on the same podcast that made top 32, cool.
Beat that other podcast.
Truly,
I'm not going to say that too loud until Ryan tells me that we actually do it.
I think
for
US podcasts we had Sarah, me in top 32, Tommy Adams made the cut.
He made day 2.
Oh,
How
wait.
did Fly Better do?
All right, well, hold on.
That's farmer.
So, Gold Squadron tied us because Darwin got golds. Darwin got top 32 as well.
Okay, that's fair.
So Marcel and Darwin and me and Sarah.
All right. I'll share the mantle with GSP.
I mean, that's a pretty good mantle to share.
I'm okay with that.
But that also means that they have to share it with us. They're stuck with us.
Tuscan Raiders top 4. Is that all you got, though?
Yeah, but that's a squad, though. That's Alex Farley.
A squad. No.
We need podcasts.
You sons of bitches got to have your own podcast. Come on. This is the only platform. I know everyone and their mother has a podcast these days. But no. Not squads. We're talking podcasts. Come on. We got to have... That's our clout. We're getting clout here.
The clout.
Crate's got no clout. Holy shit. Crates have no clout.
Yeah, the crates got
Well, Duncan.
fucked. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay, I'll
The
give you
crates
that.
got fucked still.
Crates
We'll
got
talk about
fucked.
that later.
Crates got fucked.
Mikhail, stay on target, 128.
Yep.
So, but yeah, well, that's
Hey, no, Mikhail's basically OCX anyway.
no,
Just by association.
no, not
Just
really.
kidding, Mikhail. Just kidding.
All right, so moving on from the podcast competition that we tied with second place, since 186 got first place.
All right, we'll
Right.
give him that. We'll give him that. Tie for second.
Mm-hmm.
You take that back. Aw. You know what? I had a lot of fun at Worlds, but it is not Worlds without, I mean, it's not a convention without my Gordon Berg. I missed my Gordon Berg.
Yeah.
I mean,
Gordon.
Tear and broken heart, but he was in Scotland. And if I had to go Worlds or Scotland, fucking A, I'm going to go to Scotland.
Why not take Worlds and move it over to Scotland with
let's
you?
Go to Scotland. I'm in.
I bet a lot of Europeans would be in too.
Quick question. When do you think they, now that they've moved locations, right? Like FFG has gone away from the FFG Center. Do you think it's opening the doors for
like years down the road, maybe?
In 12
yeah,
years,
not
around
soon,
fourth edition, X-Wing is the most popular sport in the world, and we're professional athletes. Sure.
Oh,
I'll take it. I'm getting in on the ground floor, damn it. I'm going to get paid to play X-Wing.
Oh. That's gotta come
money
from
from playing
sponsorships
X-Wing.
only.
I've won money playing X-Wing, so I'm one of the few people that can say that.
We're going to shelve that conversation because I like where that's going. But we're going to go to our second top 32 participant.
So, because of my victory, my victorious run of last year's Worlds, I did not have to play in the LCQ. Whee! 6 round bye.
Suckers.
Round bye. I mean,
heathens.
Realistically, so LCQ, I'm so glad that's a thing. I wish that was announced earlier so that more people would have been aware around the world.
Yes.
They didn't have to worry about getting an invite. Just go have fun, right? That's the good part. I don't see any reason for them to get rid of it. If they do, I will question whatever they're doing. But for
They
this
won't
point in
get rid of
time, LCQ is a
much money
great
off of it.
idea. Basically, your invite is just saying you have a 6-round bye. But that's it. You don't have to, you have a 6-round bye to keep playing in the main event. You don't have to worry about it. So, it means I got to fly in a day later, which is nice. So I'm running a Sears Swarm. Sears Solus 1 TA-175, 7 Trade Federation drones with grappling struts, 2 of them with Discord missiles, 2-point bid, nothing to use it on. It actually mattered in some matchups where if I'm I1, I can choose to go first and say, I take my rocks where I want to take my rocks. Mine first, not yours. I build my house first.
How many times did that come up?
Actually, at Worlds, I think none. I never did get the mirror match against another Sears Swarm or another I1. But, I mean, if it happened, I had that available.
You had the bid.
Yep. So, first round, I get Vader Echo Psi, the same list from National Worlds or Nova, not the same guy. I traded a drone for Echo in the first engagement. Sounds like a good start.
Win.
Hey,
oh no!
Vader proceeded
Vader
proceeded to fuck me. Vader does Vader things.
Oh.
There was even a turn where I lost 2 drones in the same turn to a range 2 shot from Psi, who got 3 hits, and I just blank. And Vader had a range 1, which I'm like, all right, that dude's gonna die. Whatever. I just need the other guy to live. He didn't. As soon as that turn happened, I went, oh, this game's real again. And
you were up here and got knocked down here.
Yeah. It was still tough. It came to the point where the last round, Vader did his thing. He shot and killed something for the last amount of points that he needed to get the win, just barely. I had quality shots on Vader 3 or 4 times that game and pushed 0 damage. I had twice where I got full 3 results, and he had already spent most of his tokens defensively, and he dodged all of it.
Vader greens were hot this event. Every Vader
Apparently.
I played rolled nothing but paint.
Except for Ollie's, but that didn't matter because Whisper helped him that one.
Yeah, Whisper came in pretty.
Also, man,
Ollie's game ran out. Vader ran out of greens.
Just because then I've made it to the final.
Yeah.
All of my guys fucked me there. But
I start 0-1.
Oh,
Sweet. I'm like, all right, well, I got another one to deal with. So I get matched up. I'm like, all right, let's start the pseudo submarine. I get matched up with last year's top 8 placement, also Italian national champion, Marco. And I go, this is not the submarine I was looking for. And we have another Vader, but this time Redline and Inquisitor. So I get to a point in the game where I can commit in two directions. So I'm not committing to the Inquisitor. I give 0 fucks about him. He has got 0 upgrades and nothing threatening in my mind. He's only 52 points. So it's gun on Vader or kind of turn on Redline. And if I need to quickly turn back on Vader the next turn, I can do it. But Redline's in a spot where if he couldn't really turn very well because there's a debris in his way if he wants to turn. So, and Vader, if he did anything but a 2 straight or maybe a 3 turn, that might have been close to getting him out of debris. If he did anything but a two turn to go away from the fight and completely give up Vader's shots for that round and the next round, I would have caught Vader and he probably would have taken at least half or maybe even died because it would have been a lot of crack shots from Seer. I gunned in on Vader. Vader did his 2-turn barrel rolled out. He was in a couple other bullseyes. Took 0 damage. Because all my crack shot bullseyes were blank something, blank something, blank something, blank something. In that same turn, Redline took an obstructed proton torpedo shot at a droid. So I had my 3 dice. He had his 4. He got 3. I got blanks. So I traded a drone for nothing.
Nothing.
And I still got that game to a point where it was Vader on the last turn got the points he needed to win the game. So I'm 0-2. And I'm like, huh.
Dive.
Yes. I was diving in the submarine. But then I'm like, man, now I'm getting to the creative area. The area where some people are like,
yeah,
I want to really fuck that list right there. So I get matched up at 0-2 with a very nice gentleman. We had a good time. I survived this shit. I didn't win, survived. It was Nim, Soul Sixa, and Lock Revenant. Bombs, trajectory simulator. Yeah, the guy from Vagabond, right?
Yeah. No, I high on his soul for like 4 turns in a row.
Nim, Soul Sixa, and a Scout.
I couldn't. I had 7 points of grappling struts. I did not want to use.
No.
Pass. Hard pass.
Every one of them had seismics. One of them had 2 of them had proton bomb. One of them had proximity mine, and they were all well spread out. Like the trajectory sim was on the Lock Revenant, and Nim had some stuff, so it was all evenly spread. And I was like, oh God. I sat down, I saw the matchup, and I saw his list. I'm like, all right, here's 0-3. I just dove down myself into the worst matchup possible to be eliminated.
You ran right into a
I ran right into the salt mine counter. And I survived that game somehow. Because I killed Nim.
Just took enough points off
and halved both his other ships. And I still had Seer and 4 drones.
I was gonna say you had to just pick and just Hopefully, when time runs out, I got more points.
Oh yeah, like so normally I like to spread the rocks a little bit and put them linked together so that
Nope.
I made the smallest cluster I could possible. And I said, give me the space I wanted.
I need every millimeter of this range one to fit.
Mm-hmm. So I did that. I think my next one was it was a gentleman, nice dude, played Rebels, Wedge, Dutch, and benthic 2 tubes. Just proton torpedo alpha.
Oh,
Killer 2 tubes.
Yes,
Ben
the killer 2
tubes.
tubes.
Greatest picture ever in X-Wing, by the way.
He wasn't sure if he wanted to joust me or not. I wasn't sure if I wanted to joust him either. Yeah. So I set up in a corner in an area ready to turn away. He set up in the opposite corner. I said, cool, I'm going to go the other way.
I'm gonna go this way.
And he got really tricky, or tried to be tricky with some moves and come back around with Wedge and Dutch
Try
later.
to be too tricky with it.
He got too cheeky. And I just punished him for
It
it.
happens.
So I got that one. I don't remember what my next one was, but I'm on the elimination path right now. I have to win
Yeah.
every
Oh,
single
dude.
game. I eventually get matched up. Round 6 was like everyone around us was just like cannibalizing each other. I faced the guy who I flew to Worlds with. Mark Rawberg with Ketsu Cavill and Old Tarok.
Oh no.
Next to us, Duncan and Hassan were playing each other. And like a couple
Khan.
couple tables over, like Preston, and I forget who he played, but again, it was one of those like, what are we doing?
Why are we all matched up with each other?
that was the me and D round 2.
Yeah.
Just
What?
move.
That was
Everyone go
like
one to the
round of
left.
really big matchups.
Yeah, and they're all like the 2 lost people. A
Yup.
bunch of people we knew got eliminated because it was from ourselves. So Mark had never beaten me with his specific squad that he flew at Worlds with the Sears Swarm, and that continued. He said, I'm not going to be tricky. Like, basically, he said, I'm not going to be tricky this time. He just lined up Cavill and Ketsu and just said, I'm going to go at you as fast as I can. Maybe he expected me to try to do something tricky. I turned away a little bit, but then cut back in hard, and Ketsu died. Eventually, Cavill died. And for the first time in a while, Tarok was endgame, and it made it kind of close. But this was the first game I finished a ship in a game off by killing someone with Discord missiles. Usually those go off way earlier in the game.
Oh, shit.
Nice.
Yeah, Sear blocked Cavill. Sear blocked Cavill, and my one drone just kind of like turned on the rock, and he's like, "Oh, cool."
Oh, look at this.
And Cavill was on like 1 health, and Mark's like, "Here, shoot me, kill me. I'm at range 2. You got me." And I'm like, "Why shoot you when I could put droids on you?" He's like, "You dick."
You fucking dick.
We won Worlds by doing that.
Oh man.
So, and then last round,
The game.
yeah, final elimination game. I faced a guy from Australia, Poe 3As. This was pretty tense because he had flown very non-committal and danced around me a lot, which A-Wings can do. They're really good at it. Can cut back in cut in one turn, try and get a point or two, and cut away,
And
then shoot the
they're gone.
Yeah. He made me try to commit to areas, and I was like, I have to make sure wherever I go to this turn, I have another way to turn out to something else if he tries to dink and dunk his way around. And about 30 minutes into the game, he had said, hey, we're at 30 minutes into the game. We're at this game state. And by this, it was like maybe 1 damage card on a drone. And I've maybe done a damage on one of the A-Wings, and there's really no like fighting happening anywhere.
Sure.
He's like, I know you got 8 ships, but like, should you pick it up a little bit so we have time for this? In my mind, I'm like, sure. And in my head, I'm like, man, you haven't committed to anything either, though. Like,
You're not engaging.
He's not engaging. I'm trying to make sure wherever I try and point to, like, I'm not like super overcommitted. So that just kind of put me a little on like more tense a bit. So basically game continues a whole bunch. He gets like half on a drone and kills one other. So he's got like 30 points. And I catch Greer once with a Discord missile, and he's pointing at the board edge. So he's got to turn in, and if he barrel rolls, I've closed the net a little bit to say if you barrel roll, you have no mods defensively. And I'm gonna put some damage into you. And then in the other part of the board, like I expect Poe's gone, like running. So that's why I turn everything on Greer to say if I can kill him or something, we're good. He talon rolls Poe, and Seer just kind of like kept generally following him. And Seer's got like a range 2 3 dice focus shot. He talon rolled Poe because he thought a droid was going to stay on a rock and he would get the bullseye HLC. And I was getting that droid off the rock just to get him to Greer. So he did that. It was unmodded. He took a range 2 regular shot and did nothing. And Seer shot and got Poe to half. Because I done one shield on Poe earlier. He knew like right there. He's like, that's the game. And that was it. Because Greer stayed in his spot and took the Discord one more damage. So I got Greer at half, Poe at half, and got the game.
Seems odd that that's a weird.
He got greedy. That's all it was. He got greedy thinking I was going to keep the droid on the rock. He was going to get an HLC shot. I mean, it would have been unmodded and obstructed, which is not something you want to do.
No.
If he runs with Poe and I only get half on Greer, he wins.
You're still up on points.
Yep. And he beat himself up bad on that.
Of course, it's a long day X-Wing. We all fuck up on long days.
That was just his mistake. So,
well, hey.
That's what happened. So I
surfacing.
I complete the 0250.
You wrote that on Facebook, and I'm like, 0250. What are you? And then it took a while for me to go,
the objective best submarine.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, awesome. I shouldn't have won the last game, but I did.
Or your third game.
Yeah.
All the bombs.
Realistically, the bombs could have gotten rid of me a long time ago.
I was gonna be scared.
Yeah, I was scared shitless of that list too, because I'm like, oh shit, my torrents don't have shields. These protons are
crits for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I proceeded to take 0 bomb damage that game.
Jeez.
Because I knew when he was dropping them.
Like I had I have to leave.
You know, and that's the thing with 2.0 is like you can really tell when you're going to drop them.
Well,
like
all of my ships in my squad have reposition. They all have barrel roll.
Yeah, and that's great. Yeah, but it's there's no mystery anymore on when you're going to drop a bomb. Like it's like, oh, you're going to drop the bomb this turn, aren't you? Or these, all 3 of them this turn. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Top 32 or
that was your Swiss day on day 1A.
Yep. So top 32. Like Sarah, we cursed to play locals. So I go up against Nate Bacon, who has notoriously won all of our main events at my home store, even though he rarely plays there normally. He just shows up and wins out of nowhere. This is what he does. So he goes to Worlds. I told him about 4 U-Wings because he was moderately interested in U-Wings. I said, you should try 4 U-Wings. His take on it was 3 U-Wings being 2 blues and Benthic and Edrio, so that he has an actual like legit flank style. So he had a Leia blue, a Perceptive blue, a Perceptive Benthic, and an Edrio.
That's terrifying.
Sure. That Edrio has a very lot of mods. And he keeps his wings closed, so you can just boost, focus, blue, then stuff. Or whatever he wants to do, realistically. So he had said that one of his losses was to the Seer Swarm in Swiss. He lost to it bad. He learned from that and made it a much closer game against me, but I was still able to pull that one off. He, instead of staying in a tighter formation, he split them up to try and fan them out and close in on a certain area. But that kind of put Benthic a little bit too close and out of position because there were a lot more rocks and obstacles on one side of the board. So I just went really hard at Benthic and Edrio since that was more the points and the threats were.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he had a couple areas where the other two Ewings didn't get in the fight as fast to help try and burn droids out.
Okay.
So I beat him. And then I move on to face, let's see if I can say his name right. I know his first name, I believe, is Damien. Yes. Damien Dryzdek. He was one of the undefeateds of day 1A. He ran a variant of the Torkoal list. He has Torkoal, L3, Seavor, a Cartel Marauder, and the dankest Unkar you've seen.
Oh, good lord. I'm looking at it right now.
Unkar Plut with seismic charges, pattern analyzer, cloaking device, and Tobias Beckett. So I'm pretty sure he messed with a lot of aces that day really badly.
7-0. How do you go 7-0 with that list?
Because he's got serious tricks, right?
My God.
Like serious tricks. We're talking, I don't know, what if L3 just coordinates the space tug? What if Unkar boosts Seavor and then L3 coordinates and then Seavor moves? There's a lot of stuff I could do. But anyway, get matched up, and we play, and it goes in my favor extremely fast. He kind of spread his dudes out a little bit on a half of the board, put the Cartel and L3 kind of middle, and with Unkar. Unkar dead middle, a little bit to the right was the rest of the list with Torkoal and Seavor on the widest side. So I just said, okay, I'm in my corner. You're in the opposite corner. I'm just going to go as fast as possible, catch you and isolate you one by one. And I killed that Unkar in the first turn, like that he engaged. Because like I had to, because if I didn't, he was going to start fucking me up really bad. Because he was right next to a rock to drop a seismic charge. So yeah, I like Unkar Plut, Cartel Marauder, and Torkoal were dead by engagement turn 3. And he just put his hand out and just said, I concede. It's over. Because if you're left with L3 and Seavor and 3 drones have taken 1 damage each, it's over.
No, it's over.
Yeah, even with unlimited time, no way.
Yep. So, top 32 on... Oh, duh. I'm an idiot. Rewind the clock. The other Swiss game was, I can't believe I forgot this, on stream, Gold Squadron against Jeremy Chambly.
Oh, the meme machine.
Oh, it was great. Like as soon as because this was the only repair that I remember, because I sat down against someone else. We were gonna play, and then they're like repair, and I got repair with Jeremy Chambly, and Nami's like, get over here right now, you two here. So he's got Sunfok, Chairtick, Grievous. And I forget who did the commentating, but whoever was there probably had fun. We're just, just having a game or whatever. I go up the side of the board. He comes down quick with Chairtick and Grievous. Sunfok kind of messes around a bit in the back corner. Cuts in Sunfok, basically cut in on 3 sides, Grievous long way, Chairtick in the middle, Sunfok short side. And I just turn everyone, point as many guns as possible, clog up as many areas as I could so he can limit how much tractoring he can really do. And killed Sunfok turn 1 or 2 of engagement, turn 2 of engagement. Chairtick down to 1 health after the second or third turn of engagement, and it was just left with Grievous. Like,
fucking wrecked Chambly.
I just clogged up too many lanes, and he just kind of like went at it anyway. I mean, the round before, he had wrecked a TIE swarm, and by just like being in the middle of the fight. Once those Nantexes are in the fight,
they're in there, yeah,
they're terrifying.
But if you could take them out before they get there,
well, they got in there. There's just I have 8 ships.
you have 8 ships.
There's
Like,
a lot of stuff to try
you
and
only get 2
control and
tractor
move
beams to
around.
hand out.
Yeah,
Freak.
exactly.
On the subject of repairs, that repair, I don't know if it fucked me or not, but I think I remember talking to you specifically about this during the repair. Because I sat down across quad phantoms, and I legitimately had no idea how my squad would fare. Like, Obi-Wan sure likes moving after all your ships, but I don't know about the rest. And then I got repaired against Tom Harper, and I'm like, well, Kylo sucks. So I don't know, but that was my repair experience.
Oh, Jeremy didn't tell me he played against you. Oh, I would have known that. I would have fucking railed on him all day.
Well, and a small preview. We are prepping to do crate tape for that game.
Oh,
wait to do what?
Wait a minute. Are you going to be on a crate cast before I am?
Not a cast.
Wait, you've already been on the crate cast, haven't you?
Once.
Yeah.
Shit, I haven't even been on the crate cast.
No, so a crate tape is when they go back.
No. Yeah. I know what it is. It's knowledgeable.
Yeah. No, we're gonna review that game with either
good community content, guys.
Yeah. Peak. So anyway, going back forward in time to my final match, which was against Nicholas from Sweden. He was a Swedish national champion. He likes Scum. He brought Torkel, but he did not bring the standard Torkel, just like the last guy did. This guy brought Snapshot R5P8 Tirani Kolda. So if you do not know the combination, Tirani says after you perform an attack, which Snapshot sure as hell is an attack, and so is his regular attack, which both happen before any of my ships shoot, which means his railgun is terrifying.
Kyle's ears are burning right now.
Then it was a standard Cartel Marauder. Just wait for it. We got Kyle's other favorite, Jostero was in the list.
I was just gonna say, oh my god.
So
I might get him back in the X-Wing.
Jostero does not trigger off the same ship Tirani shoots at, but it does trigger on the other ships that are in the bullseye.
Yep, the other ones.
And then it was then it was Torkel with proton bombs as well. So yay for swarms.
Oh god. That's literally the swarm killer.
He did later on say yes, he did later on say in the interview with Flybetter he was looking forward to fighting swarms. So
but he went what top?
He was top 16.
Top 16, yeah.
And I know for a fact that even if I made it past him, which I do know the mistakes I made, and there was a turn 0 mistake.
But another turn 0 intellectual moment here.
So intellectual moment, if you go and watch that game from my perspective on the side, 4 of the rocks got kind of cornered, each corner-ish. 1 was in the dead middle, and the last one was the important one that I did not take advantage of, which was in between the middle and my bottom right corner, which cuts off his bank lane if he goes in quickly. If I would have set up the corner on that side, and if he set up on the jousting side, the same across from me, I could have 1 turn, 5 straight, cut back in later like I did in the game, but from the correct side, because what he did is he 4 straight, and either 2 turn or 3 banked to get at me quick. Because he was prepared to joust me. I didn't know if I wanted to joust him, so I turned in 5 straight, but because his bank lane was open, he had free reign to do whatever maneuvers he needed to get to me quickly, which put pressure on me. And he did the right thing.
Because that's what he wants to do. I mean, he wants to try to catch you in the bunch.
Yep. So, he caught me. If the game goes up, I'm not sure if it will, because most of the game was dominated by a time stoppage, because we had a fun situation of we're deep in the planning phase. And in the prior turn, my opponent noted that, I think you forgot that your ship had weapons failure. And I said, oh, shit. Judge. Zach comes over. We explain the situation. he wants to get Juris, and Juris is in the bathroom. So wait till Juris comes out. We're trying to talk it over, figure out what's happening, because I actually killed Jostero before he can get his ability off in the game, which I felt solid win.
That's a win. Yeah.
Tarani already chunked me pretty hard though.
So you got to walk everything back.
Well, so I not only killed Jostero, but I'd also done damage on his other Marauder because I put a Buzz Droid on Jostero. So by the time I got to 1 health left on Jostero, I just switched targets because that Buzz Droid's going to do the final damage anyway. So we go through all this. Travis and Paul were commentating, and they're like, shit, we missed it too. We can't roll it back. We're not sure. We have our ideas, but we don't want to step in with this, like just based on whims and ideas. Like we don't have anything concrete. So Juris comes over, we explain the situation, and he gets this look on his face, and I could tell as he's trying to think it over, like he doesn't have anything solid. In my head, I'm like, all right, what compromise can we do here? So I say, hey, you know what? That's my crit on my ship. I know we're both responsible of game state, but let's just do this. Instead of what, we could walk this all back and get to the similar situation, but I think, hey, take that shield back on your Cartel Marauder and call it good. Let's just move on.
Fucking A.
That's what we did.
I was going to say, that's exactly what I would do too. It's like, you know what? Let's just not take that damage.
Yeah, just take the shield back. We don't have to go back during Jostero because I switched targets. We would have had to go back and figure all that out. Let's just move on, take the shield back, call it good. And at that point, honestly, I was probably losing the game. Because next turn, like, I got half on Tarani, but, like, Seer died, and, like, I'm left with, like, 3 drones, and, like, that's it. And there's
one shield was not going to make the difference of that game.
No, like I was switching targets to Tarani anyway. That was just like my droid didn't have the shot on Tarani. I'm like, let's just see what we can do the Cartel Marauder.
So
yeah. So it didn't matter. And after that turn came over, I was like, hey, I got half on Tarani, kill Jostero, right? He's like, yeah. I said, all right, I can see it's done. Because the game after that, it was going to be against Bartos with 5 A-Wings, and droids like hard lose to that.
Oh, shit.
Like, he would have to massively mess up for me to win that game. So top 16 would have been my absolute, like, even if I would have found a way to beat Nicholas, which would have been rough, which it maybe could have been possible. It would have been interesting to see how the game goes if I deploy in the correct corner, right? But that's really what it was. Like, he had the jousting advantage because he had swarm tech, but I could have positionally been in a better spot.
You could have, turn 0, you could have been in a better spot.
Yep.
Well, guys, super good run for both of you. Sarah won, going LCQ all the way through to top 32. Topsky, I expected nothing less than you, especially after your run last year. I always like hearkening back to people like, oh, I mean, it's just a dice game. I'm like, no, guys, this is the absolute, like, the dice are like way off in the corner. I know there's the edge cases, but this is all flying. This is all skill. This is all positioning. And that's why you see some of the top players always making cut, always making day 2, always making this and that. So huge congratulations to both of you. I know you got some sweet swag.
Yep.
It's all over there.
It's all over there. I see the cabinet is coming along nicely.
Oh, hey, Ryan. I got enough faction dial covers for my faction Republic. Did you get enough faction dial?
Wait a minute.
Your faction?
Oh, let's see it. I bet he does. Because didn't he do the...
I know he was looking to trade with people.
Oh, was he? Oh, did you get the trades? Did you get
I offered tickets to like anyone who had the Trade Federation dials. Because my first goal for Worlds was make day 2 cut, right? Whatever. But prize specific goals was, hey, I'd like to leave Worlds with 7 of the alt art cards, right? So that I had 7 Trade Federation drones. And I was like, if I could find a way, maybe acquire 7 Trade Federation dial covers, that'd be awesome. So I started with 3 because I was number 8 on the top 8 of my day for Separatists. So I started with 3.
Ooh, that's
And
a
then
that's a good way to start.
Your buddy Paul Olson said he was willing to trade 21 tickets for 3 more.
Oh,
That's a shit ton of tickets.
ah!
And then Jesse Cho, good buddy, said, "Hey,
See?
I still have some. Would you like to trade?" And I'm like, "Do you know the going rate?" Apparently the going rate was 7 tickets per dial, because 7 tickets was whatever that was. So I have all 7 Trade Federation drone
Yes.
dials.
That is the biggest accomplishment of Worlds 2019, folks.
Greatest
Not making top
accomplishment.
32.
Somebody
Getting
screen
7
capture that and put that. Send me the picture because that's the new OCX banner right there. Greatest accomplishment of world. Sorry, Oliver. I think Topsky won.
Well, so Travis was trying to do the same thing, and he actually, I think, got really close, or he just stuck with a few, like some of them, and then got because he went to nationals and he had the regular standard CIS
oh,
ones.
sure.
See, there's Sarah's Jedi Knights.
Yep, she's
So I
got
got
him.
3 Jedi
But-
Knights. I do have a squad planned out with 4 Jedi Knights, so I'm unfortunately short on fancy dial covers.
There you go. Screen camera. Print screen. Right there. Got it.
So yeah,
Now, if we can only make medals with all your dial covers.
I mean, there is a hole, so you can
There is a hole. I want to say the world's tickets or the world's prizes this year were awesome.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Wade.
Those plastic cards are just to die for. They're so good. Even the not plastic cards are really good. The artwork, the front and the back, both of them are awesome. The Plo Koon model I know was a huge hit,
Yup.
And the and
Oh,
and
very
templates.
spendy is what I've seen on eBay.
the templates.
The templates were also. I know that was a big thing for the judges. They were like, "I need my Plo Koon templates." So I think they all got them.
I would hope they did.
But no, Wade, you knocked it out of the park this year, buddy.
Mhm.
the silver mirrored focus and evade tokens, beautiful. The range
Yep.
rulers, and I haven't seen the template set in person yet, but I assume it's beautiful. Beautiful.
They're
Yeah.
mirrored
Dial covers,
too.
beautiful. All the alt art cards, beautiful.
See, I didn't know the templates were mirrored as well.
Yep. So the
That-
the
I
black
would-
area is mirrored.
Because to tell you the truth, when I saw them on the picture, I'm like, really? But then I saw them in person. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, I get it.
Yeah, no. The last 2 prizes I want to add to my X-Wing collection sometime in my life are Worlds templates and a Worlds trophy. Those are
Mhm.
the 2 things.
Tommy brought up a good point. That plastic Durasteel Plo card was really cool too.
Mhm.
God, yeah, it was a little pricey on tickets because it was like 10 tickets, but worth it.
I like where your head's at, Sarah. I'm just going for that store championship, which announcement, everyone, we're getting store championships. I don't know if that's it's a little dated, but hey, store championships
How
is
about
what I love.
hyperspace water not?
Yeah, fucking geez. You know what? I'd loved the hyperspace trials because I like the fact that there was a big prize at the end, right? And but then they came with the LCQ and they're like, "Ugh, really? I think they'll fudge that out maybe a little bit. I think they know how many people they can have at Worlds now.
Mhm.
I think with the lack of attendance in the LCQ, because there was tons of tickets for the LCQ left. I wouldn't be surprised if first and second place have Worlds invites for trials next year, or primes, or whatever the fuck they want to call them.
I think it's appropriate that finalists both get invites.
I think so too.
It is, even if you're a really good player, it is hard to win a hyperspace trial. I have never been at the final table of a store champ or regional tournament. I've never done that. but I've made day 2 worlds all 3 times I've went. Like, you need some luck to go high in a tournament in addition to skill. And I think only leaving it to the people that win hyperspace trials is a little restrictive.
It's
And
a
I
little
think
restrictive.
MFG knows that, because otherwise they wouldn't have made the LCQ and let 128 players move from the LCQ to Worlds.
Yep. It was so big.
So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there are more opportunities for players to qualify for Worlds this year, especially with on Sunday, the day after day 2 Worlds, they had a first chance qualifier.
Yep.
16 people got Worlds invites. Rip me, I guess.
Guys, I think they're in the, you know, they're gonna loosen up the restrictions. I really do.
So, they have the
I
space.
know they got a lot of flack for that many people. Like, hey, I busted my ass off to get a freaking, you know, hyperspace trial win, and all I had to do was go to Minneapolis a day before Worlds, and 128 of us could have made it into Worlds. It looked bad, right? I'm not gonna lie, it looked bad, but it would have looked even worse if like day 1A had 60 people and day 2 had, or day 1B had 75. I'm like, they scrambled. They did the best they, you know, that was the best outcome that could have come. I mean, it was good competition. In fact, I think there was like 4 people from the LCQ that made it to the top 8 or top 16. I want to say.
I can't recall. I mean, technically, Sarah.
Well, that was word on the street that the top 16 had like 3 or 4 people that were in the LCQ.
There were a lot of good players that just didn't like win a hyperspace trial.
And you know what? To tell you the truth,
players.
You go through an LCQ, you go through another day of Swiss, and then you make it all the way to the top 16 in the finals. I'm sorry, I think you deserve to be there. That's a lot of goddamn X-Wing.
So, like, I get the point of people that are like, oh, the LCQ invalidates the work I had to put in to get my invite. But also, if you were good enough to get an invite in the first place, you should still be good enough to get to, like, day 2 Worlds.
Just go through the LCQ and get there. Yes.
Just play better.
You should.
Is the thing. Because, like, I personally was really upset at a few weeks before Worlds, there were a few threads online. And of course, people are shits online, even on Facebook when we can see who you are. But a lot of people were like, LCQ shouldn't exist. LCQ's terrible. And I went on those threads and I said, okay, do you think I deserve to not play in Worlds? Yeah. I legitimately didn't have time to play in a qualifier, much less win one. Even if I had played in one, it takes luck to win one as well, in addition to skill. Are you saying I don't deserve to be there, even though
it's hard to win an event, flat out.
Yeah.
It's hard to straight win an event.
And I'm sorry, to the international community alone, like,
oh god, yeah,
that is one. That's a saving grace. That validates their entire trip, right? You're spending $1,000 to fly from across one of the seas to go to Minneapolis in October. I'm not going there to play side events, right? Like, I'm going there to try to get into Worlds. If you're going to give me a shot, I'm going to take it. If I don't do well, then I'll go do my side events, and then I'll go and I'm going to go with like 60% of Worlds is just meeting everyone, having fun, being around X-Wing for 4 days, 5 days, whatever. But to have that chance, to give them a little bit of that, you know, a little bit of that Star Wars New Hope, it validates the entire trip. And how many, I can guarantee you, not all of them Britain 186 guys had a fucking hyperspace trial win. Because holy shit, there was a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you every one of them was in the LCQ.
Yeah, so, I really like the format as is. And I would love for it to be like refined further. Like maybe more people get invites versus LCQ. Sure. Because there were probably almost as many LCQ players as there were people who actually like earned a Worlds invite.
Earned a valid win, yeah.
Because
And
I'm sure more people earned invites, but there's probably a lot of people that just couldn't go to Worlds for whatever reason, even though they got an invite. So
hey guys, this all boils down to money. Like they did the math, they did their little thing, and they're like, shit, how many hyperspace trial winners are actually going to show up? And they're like, oh hey, wait a minute, what if we just extend it to Wednesday? How many people do you think are going to show up for a last chance? And how many people were there? There's like 128 people. No, there's more than that.
There were about 250 people.
Exactly. 200 people spent $25 on an LCQ ticket.
Yep.
They got to pay for the venue somehow, guys.
Yep.
So I'm 100% fine with it. I think they're going to tweak a bunch of stuff this year, especially with hyperspace. I think they will broaden it out, and they'll be like, okay, maybe the top 2 finalists, maybe even top 4. I don't know.
I feel like trials might still just be one, maybe also the finalist. I think System Open's top 8 probably stays, but Nationals was top 4 only, and Gen Con was top
bullshit.
8 only.
That's bullshit. Those are going to bump up to 16.
I think Nationals need to be at least 8, just like System Open, and I think Grands. And Continentals probably should just be 16.
Geez, how many years have they had to tweak this thing? I want to try to say every year it's getting better. I think
it is
not this last year, but the year before that, it took a step back, and they recovered this year. I think next year we're going to see a bunch of new rule. I think it's going to be much better. One, I think they're going to be implementing their restricted lists, because they've always talked about that, or they've alluded to it. Now, competitive X-Wing is going to be a little different, but I think it's going to be much more jelly. It's gonna get in there. So we're gonna dive into this topic because I know everyone's talked about it, and it's, we can't go through a fucking Worlds without the community fucking going nuts. There's got to be drama. There has to be drama. And to tell you the truth, I don't think we would validate ourselves as a legitimate wargaming tabletop community if we didn't have some sort of drama at the fucking highest level.
So, just as a recap, last year's drama was Simeon versus Nathan in the top 4 with the whole list issue with the ion bomb. Was there something the year before?
That was the
Dialgate.
Parker. Yeah, it was Dialgate.
Yeah. So realistically,
and the year before that was there was something. But X-Wing wasn't as big as it was now, so it wasn't fucking 27 podcasts all talking about the same thing.
Realistically, I think this one might be this one might be the most tame, but
it is 100% the most tame.
I think the aftermath of this one might show it eventually being not as tame, because Simeon and Nathan's was a big deal in the moment, but was resolved in a very sportsman like manner that made it turn it into a good thing.
Okay, so that was probably the most tame.
Yes,
this was, and oh my god, so I'm sitting with Ben Keller and Jeremy Chambly, which are the 2 people you should probably not be sitting with while this is all happening. Hashtag same team, by the way.
Sure.
So I'll give you because I am waking up from a massive hangover, right? Like, I am not functioning correctly, and I was called upstairs when the high ground was still lightly populated. Like, there was maybe 6 of us up there.
Yep. I have the picture. Someone took it.
Yeah. And so then slowly it is brought to my attention that someone is playing 4 Star Vipers.
Mm-hmm.
And that they are, by the rules, not fortressing. They are moving, performing actions, setting dials, moving, performing actions. But with Star Vipers, You
It's
can
very
do
much
all
like
that
the Phantoms.
and never move. It is very much like the Phantoms, yes. And so this whole thing is blowing up and everyone's going, I mean, and I finally got to watch one game and they're just like, I guarantee you by the end of this game, there's three there because they were playing on the map on the FFG one where they had the moon in the corner
Uh-huh.
and the moon was in his corner and that's where he
Yeah,
set up.
it was the Mandalore mat from
Yeah, there we go. And they're like, I guarantee you by the end of the game, 3 of his Star Vipers don't leave that fucking moon. And I'm like, what? That's not legal. Like, that's fortressing. They're like, oh, coach, you're silly. I'm like,
Uh-oh.
I think we lost Coach.
Oh no.
Okay.
All right.
So I guess how do we want to dissect this issue? What part of it do we want to start talking about?
Let's start with how it all came about. Let's go way back. This almost like starts at a hyperspace trial in Sacramento, I believe. Gentleman's name is Mitchell Rabb. He plays 4 Black Sun Assassin Star Vipers with Crackshot. He has, I think that has somewhat of a bid after.
It's like a 3-point or 4-point bid or something.
Yeah.
At I3, which is like decently important bidding spot.
Mm-hmm. 4-point bid.
Well, that's beside the point, yeah.
Yeah, because I think I built it once before with Predator and just
I
took
just
it as this.
the fuck out.
Yeah, you froze. We've been kind of taking it, just kind of telling a little bit of the backstory of the hyperspace trial when this kind of first surfaced because it's the same guy.
Yeah.
So he's got 4 Star Vipers with Crackshot, it's Black Sun Assassins, and it was reported at this trial that he was in the final table against a Sinker Swarm that had 4 Torrents, Sinker, and Luminara, the really defensive variant. Both of them never really wanted to engage each other in the areas they wanted to. Basically, Star Vipers never really left a certain area, and the Sinker Swarm never went to the area the Star Vipers wanted them to. There was a whole lot of we didn't want to go here. I don't remember the resolution of that game or who won, but overall, it just brought up the issue of this doesn't feel good, or this doesn't have a resolution, right? This game just kind of happened and no one wanted to do anything.
I mean, it's kind of a prisoner's dilemma. It's like whoever actually picks the engage first in that matchup
is going to lose.
Loses the game.
Is going to lose.
So once that came out publicly, it kind of prompted, because it was getting close to Nova, I think. It was over the summer.
Nova was the big one, yeah.
So Paul Heaver had...
fucking sheriff.
Sheriff Heaver.
The sheriff, Paul Heaver.
The lone sheriff Heaver in town. He implemented a ruling and updated his stuff for Nova to clarify and make sure everyone was aware what judges would be doing to take steps to make sure it wasn't going to happen in Nova. Stuff like after the first 15 minutes of a game, every judge at Nova was to go around and check every table, not individually, but spread out, cover their area, check every table. And if a squad or a game had not really progressed past their general deployment zone, they were told to stay there, watch the game, and ask the players, what's your plan right now? Why are you still here? As sort of a general warning. It's like, you need to make movements to engage soon.
It wasn't an official warning.
I don't believe so.
It was a whisper in the ear to the players like, hey, what you doing? It was more of to make their presence known.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, hey, I'm going to sit here and watch the game. And to any player, that should be like, well, I can't do this anymore. It's a very nonchalant way to say that, well, my general strategy to sit in this corner is not going to work because he's probably going to call me on the next turn if I do the exact same thing.
Yes. And it
I
was
think it's the best way to go about it.
yeah.
You don't give him an infraction, but you're just saying, if you do it again, I'm going to give you your first infraction. It's a warning before the warning.
Yeah, it was up front. It was
Yep.
known before the event. And
There's no conflict. It's just-
surprise, Heaver said there was no one who had that issue.
It went fine.
Yeah.
Well, generally, people that go to an X-Wing tournament to play X-Wing want to play X-Wing, so they're going to pick an engagement. Generally.
Yes,
So it usually
eventually.
doesn't come up.
Well,
Those
I
tournaments
will
are-
argue with that. I think it's getting more and more in the opposite direction. Not a lot. I think it's like 85-15.
Mhm.
But
Now-
that 15, man, that can really ruin a day.
Now, that does not mean they were forced to joust each other. That
Correct.
does not mean that anyone was forced to be in any position they did not want to be in. It just means you need to make moves to go to an engagement.
Yes.
Mhm.
Or that do not replicate the moves that you just did before.
Yes, or do not continue the stalemate.
Yes.
That's the key.
And it was on both sides.
Mm-hmm. So, and then a lot of internet conversation occurred. Mitchell vehemently disagreed with Heaver and all that fun internet conversation.
That
put it
was a great
way.
time.
So, Worlds. Mitchell has made himself into top cut. He has made his way up through the rankings into top 16, where his game against Duncan Howard is featured on the FFG stream.
Yep.
Duncan immediately made it aware to the judge that was available to watch the game, being Brent, that he was concerned and knew Mitchell's strategy.
Why is it always Brent? Why is it always Brent?
Don't know, but he was the one who was judging that game. So Duncan made the judge fully aware. He says, I know what this guy's going to do. He's going to take his Star Vipers. He's going to generally stay in his deployment zone and corner. He's never going to come at me. His final salvo dice is greater than mine. So what is there? Do I need to, like, he's just overall concerned of, like, are
He was
you
stating his
guys
case.
going to do anything about
Yeah.
it? Because this is exploiting a stalemate, which
Yes.
by in the rules of those words means it is an infraction on the floor rules, as long as the judges enforce it. Which they seem to, like Brent. It was hard to tell because we were up in the stands, we were in conversation. It seemed like at some point Brett had actually pulled them both aside and said, this game is taking too long. You guys need to pick
Yeah.
up the pace. And this was to both of them,
Yep.
apparently. So, like, every once in a while, Brent would look at his watch, look at the state, and tell either one or both players, you need to make a decision. Clock on watch, you need to make a decision. And people can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was directed at Mitchell more than Duncan in that game.
I was not watching the game. I would believe that. But I also would believe that because a judge is trying to remain as impartial as possible, that they're treating both players equally in that situation, even if one player is causing more infractions than the other.
Well, yeah, it's not as much directed specifically to tell him that. It's that Duncan's dials are down.
Yep.
And Mitchell was still making decisions.
Yep.
Yes. And
So
that's
the only reason why it was directed towards him, was because he was still making decisions and Brett wanted the game to move along.
And Brent actually had a timer on his phone and he was pausing at
Mhm.
certain spots.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it also was Duncan would be like, Brent, you need to make these moves for either himself or me. And Brent had the templates in his hand a lot.
Mhm.
And he would stop the clock. He would move the pieces. Now, was that in Duncan's favor? Maybe. It was alluded to me by Tyler Tippett that actually Duncan could have won that game, but he did his math wrong.
Okay.
He had an opportunity. Duncan did his math wrong. He thought he was going to lose no matter what. But if Sunter put a shot in on one of the Vipers and got it to half, he would have actually won the game. And
So-
Duncan, but it was like the last 2 rounds.
Mhm.
And by that time, the word had spread. Apparently, what I was told is that the past 2 opponents had gone to judges before the game, Cat,
Yep.
and specifically said, "Hey, what's going to happen if he just stays in his corner?" And as I was told, it was just like a kind of a shrug the shoulders kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward, Duncan loses. This guy wins, and he goes against
Now,
Kalen
granted-
Wong.
Yes. Now, granted, and you can listen to Flybetter's interviews. Duncan, and from conversation with him, he felt like he had to make an engagement because, from Duncan's point of view, he knew or
The
felt like
dice
he knew.
were not in his favor. Yeah,
No, not even that. He knew, or he felt like he knew that the judges were not going to do enough for it to matter in his game, so he had to make moves anyway.
Now, see, in Duncan's case, I feel like if he would have just done the same thing, even if there was it would have been an infraction against both of them, and I think that would have been in Duncan's favor. You know, if both of them just flew around in their corners, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden half the game's gone and no one's done anything. At least that way, Brent would have been like, guys, you're both getting an infraction. In that case, I know half the game's gone, but at least Duncan's
it's
gonna
a
get
lot of time for Duncan to not.
it's a lot of
to
time for
lose.
Duncan to get half points, but at least he would have had to engage, right?
I mean,
And
not Mitch could have still kind of went slower anyway.
You know what? At that point, I think whoever fucked up, right? Whoever didn't do what Brent's sayings was gonna be, he's like, you're done, you're out. But that's the trick, right? So this is where the Chambly Coach Keller conversation came in. We're actually calling him the whistleblower because the next game the judges convened
Mm-hmm.
and they finally did something. Now, was it a game too late? Was it 3 games too late? Yes, probably.
It was like 6 games too late.
Realistically, this
The whole
type of
tournament too
issue
Right.
needed to be addressed earlier. That's why, even if you disagree with Paul Heaver and Yoon, who is taking the same stance Heaver is, at least it's known in the beginning, and you
Right.
clearly know all the way through.
Mhm.
See, that was my problem is nobody told him, hey man, I'm just gonna give you a warning right now. Would he be in the top 8?
Don't know.
Who knows?
Nobody knows.
Yep.
But all I'm
we
saying
know
is that
what happened. So
all I'm saying is that he forced FFG to finally enforce that rule.
I don't even say they enforced it that much anyway.
Well, he did because the next game he engaged. There was no in the
So
corner.
Kalen Wong,
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm one game.
yeah.
It was the game after Kalen Wong.
So
It was-
against Kalen,
yeah.
he
He did
now,
the same thing.
Now realistically, and like because Kalen had the one trick of it's the resistance,
That instance, yes.
like there's an actual reason to kind of be
There's
like
a reason to
cagey.
do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, but that
still
makes
doesn't
sense to
feel
any
good.
judge. Yeah, it still doesn't feel good. But it's Kalen's list forcing him to do that. It's not, I'm set up in this corner, you're set up in this corner. Let's see how this goes. You're going to come to me.
Mhm.
Well, he already knows that Kalen's list is going to come to him.
Mhm.
So in that aspect, I get it. And that's why I think they didn't do it in Kalen's game. I think it was the game after that. And I saw the judges they had the powwow. I was literally 10 feet away from them. And that's when they said, hey, you're going to engage. You're in the top 4. Good for you. But you ain't going to do this anymore. Is it too late to do it? Yes. But is it better that they did it before the very end? I mean, Can you imagine that finals matchup between Trip Aces and the Star Vipers sitting in a corner? That would have gone down as the worst fucking Worlds final ever.
Well,
So
Ollie was the one who beat him, so it would have been DT with the five rebels.
yeah, but Ali beat him because he had to engage.
So I mean that's a rumor at this point, right?
No, it did. I saw the whole. I mean, you watched the game too. He was not in his
he
corner.
engaged, but the rumor is whether or not FFG talked to him to a degree that made him feel like he was forced to engage.
I know for a fact that I don't know if he was giving a warning. You know, the explicit like, hey, this is your pregame warning. If you don't engage, your next warning is a DQ, which is something they absolutely do not want.
Yeah,
especially live on stream.
I don't know if this actually occurred or not, but I heard people throwing around the words tournament points. Because FFG said they were going to start using that, where if you have an infraction in a tournament, you get a tournament point and get enough of them, and they're like, hey, you can't play in our tournaments anymore.
Well, I thought that was already a thing.
Yeah, that's a floor rules thing already.
That's in floor rules, yeah.
Words thrown around
for for him. Okay.
I don't know if it's true.
So
I heard that could have been what happened.
I know the way this guy was flying is not the correct way, but in the end, he got FFG to do something that they were unwilling to do all day.
Yeah, it may have been a necessary evil, right?
It's a necessary evil. Like, we got the World's Championship that we wanted. I get that, and I'm sorry for all the people that had to play that guy. Because
I'd be really curious to know if anybody actually candidly and truthfully had fun against him. Now, granted, a lot of people will say, well, I don't care if anyone has fun against my list. It's Worlds. I'm highly competitive. There's a difference between playing a game and not playing a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like his list is one of the lists because there are multiple. Like there's 4 U-wings. They do the same thing.
Yes, they do.
Ran
into that one.
Like it's sad because I want to like the 4 U-wings, but when the most optimal strategy is to say I'm going to board edge these dudes for a while before I need to lay a turn into something, like that's just no fun.
And I guess it's one of those things where we have to, I mean, you got to force the community to go, hey, judge. He hasn't moved. He hasn't moved past a 2-measure and 2-measure range or a 3-measure, 3-measure range in 6 turns. Please. I mean, I really hate it because I will never do this because I'm not that person. But you got to go, judge, I want to have an infraction against this guy or at least a warning and make him fight me. Now, don't make him go 5 straight, from where he is, but at least get him out of his freaking corner. I mean, and we have proof now that, I mean, we don't have definitive proof, but we have enough proof that FFG told him you can't do that because his next game against Ali, he didn't do that. I mean, you're playing Trip Aces. Why would you not sit in a corner?
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think there's a lot of people who weren't at Worlds who just saw the games on stream and say, oh, no, there's an engagement against Duncan. Or no, he engaged Ali. Like, okay, but talking with the players, Duncan felt like he had to engage because he was going to stay there. And against Ali, it seems like he was talked to by FFG judges.
His game plan changed, and it was not in his favor. His gameplay from Duncan to Ali is completely different, and it shouldn't be. Because if you're going to play against Trip Aces and you can sit in a corner and make them come to you, that's so much to your benefit. Like it's not even funny.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, if I was Mitchell in that game and like Ollie's just saying, hey, I'm going to hang the Inquisitor out here. I'm like, I'm not going to bite on that.
Yeah.
that thing is 52 points if I don't care.
Right. That's a non-starter for me.
Yeah.
We get so wrapped up in what's good strategy and what's not good strategy. The good strategy is sit in a corner, but it's also not fun. So once again, surprise, surprise, we're at this huge conversation of, okay, do I want to win or do I want to have fun?
Yeah. And Tim from Australia makes a really good point in chat. I think we should reward that, coach. We should, as players, you should never ask for someone else for like say, hey, he should get an infraction or he should get a warning or he should get penalty points. Like, just call the judge over, voice your concerns. The judge will assess what's necessary.
Yes. Don't ever just lay something on an opponent. That was a slip of the tongue there. Just call a judge over and explain your situation. Like, that's all you can do. And that's all you should do.
And
like, hey,
if you don't like the answer the judge gave you, you are allowed to call for the marshal if there's a marshal.
People, I don't know how many times I've heard this over and over and over, but apparently it doesn't stick. You can overrule a judge's call by calling. I mean, you can ask for the marshal. The marshals is the official rule. Like, you can't get past that one. But if you think your judge made a bad call, don't go, well, the judge said that way. I mean, I really think this is going to screw me over. No, get the marshal. No judge is going to care. I mean, they shouldn't. I mean, that's what the marshal's there for. You know, to tell you the truth, a lot of judges are doing this for freaking volunteering. Like, they're not all the quintessential X-Wing players in the world. Like, they don't know every freaking rule, every freaking ability queue, this and this and that. They're there to make your event run.
So, to Gordon's point, saying sometimes there isn't time left for martial rulings, though, I disagree wholeheartedly. You have the 100% right to say, Judge, I would like a double check ruling from the marshal, and I would like you to start a clock for a time extension. And I have never heard a judge disallow that.
Yep. Right. I got 2 time extensions over the course of a tournament. Both were because I asked for them.
Now, saying
because it that way, if you're asking for it, it's not like it's just making sure the game will resolve in the time it's supposed to. That's all you're doing.
Holy shit. Tommy just put in chat, I asked for a time extension and they didn't give it to me. What the fuck?
Well, I mean, I guess we'd have to know the exact situation, but that sounds incorrect.
Don't freak out, coach.
I will freak out on that.
So what I do want to say about this whole fortressing situation is, so a lot of players are upset that this wasn't dealt with before top 4 of Worlds.
Yep.
Supposedly, this was not reported to the judges during the Swiss rounds of day 1. His opponents were not reporting his fortressing behavior, which is part of the problem. You as a player, even if it's not against the rules, always have the right to tell a judge about a behavior in a game you did not agree with that they should maybe watch for the next game. This includes fortressing. This includes slow play. This includes your opponent being a dick at the table. Even if it's not explicitly against the rules, like, a moving fortress is not explicitly against the rules. But if I faced this guy in Swiss, I would have brought this up to a judge while the game was going on. Because I know I have the right to do this, and even if the judge says, hey, there's nothing we can do, and I get screwed in that game, the judges can then watch this player the next game. So it's just big reason it wasn't caught until day 2 and dealt with until day 2 is because nobody knew it was a problem in day 1 because this player's opponents never said anything.
And I guess that harkens back to, like, we're always saying it's Worlds, guys. This is Worlds. You should know how to play. Like, you should be up to date on every, like, I guess when it comes to Worlds, we're all expecting all the players there to know the rules, know this, know that. And it's just always one of those glaring things that, like, it's not. Like, half of these people in Worlds, are not competitive players. Not that it's a bad thing, but it's it's one of those where you're like, I'm gonna dip my toe. Where are you going? Worlds. It's a tournament in town. Or it's like no, that's not the first place to dip your toe into the competitive X-Wing world. I'm not gonna say don't do it, but I'm just saying do your research before. Because yes, this guy should have been called out in Swiss rounds.
Mhm.
Like,
And I'm not saying I'm purposefully trying to not take a side on if this specific player did anything wrong. I'm in general against fortressing, but I never watched any of this specific player's games, so I'm not speaking to the specific situation, but more so in general. But even if it wasn't going to be dealt with by judges in Swiss rounds, like let's say this dude's first round opponent brought it up to judges, even if the judges didn't plan on dealing with it in Swiss rounds, I still think it's important for the judging crew to know about it as soon as possible.
yeah.
And not just this, but if you hit like a quad U-wing list that like also just stays there basically and waits for you to come engage, I think judges should maybe also know about that too. It's just kind of against the spirit of the game.
Oh, there was definitely a game that I was spectating one of my buddy's games, and he was facing 4U, and he started the board edge crawl. So I just went up to a judge and I just said, I'd like to make you aware. I'm not going to say who or where just yet unless you want me to tell you. But there's a game in progress right now that one player is utilizing a list that is just board edge crawling around and is about to turn up the next board edge, and the other player is down on final salvo dice, and to fight it just seems like the other player is stalling and just saying, I will turn in whenever you come close to me. And if I recall, I think the judge just said, just point me in the general direction, I'll just keep my eye out, and that was it. Because I didn't want to give him any specifics because I was a spectator. I just want to say, hey, this is a situation. You can make the determination what you want with it.
I think that's a very good way to handle it. Just like, hey,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Look at this game. If you feel it's a problem, do whatever you want to. If you don't, it's a problem.
Make your rounds around table X through X.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't spot it, then I'm wrong.
Yep.
But it's the mentality, guys. It's like I'm sorry. I know you don't want to pick sides, Sarah, but this guy knew what he was doing. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's not like he was new to X-Wing. He knew X-Wing. He brought that list.
When I say I'm not picking sides, I mean I'm not going to say anything against this player personally because I've never said a word to him. I don't know if he's a nice person or not. I legitimately don't know. I hate fortressing. I don't think it has a spot in the game.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be unbiased in terms of is fortressing good or bad. I just don't want there to be a witch hunt against this specific player for something that they did that other players were doing. It was just more visible on this one player because they were in day 2.
Oh yeah,
I get
there
that.
are definitely other players that are at fault.
On this player, I don't think people have generally been doing that. I know a few have been trying to, and I don't think it's cool. But witch hunting on the subject of fortressing specifically, I'm all for, because it's against the spirit of the game. It makes the game unfun, and I hate it.
Well, let's clarify. Stalling.
Yes, it wasn't fortressing.
We should say stalling because fortressing does have a defined rule set in the rules reference, which alludes to not moving, where technically in this situation they were moving, just stalling in their corner. So
I'm going to totally call him out and say, dude, you were stalling and you knew you were stalling and that was the way you were winning. But at the same time, I'm going to congratulate him by something that he didn't think was going to happen probably, but you finally got FFG to realize it. Again, it was the necessary evil. Sorry, dude, but you were the evil. I watched two games of yours, and then actually, I should say I watched 3 games of yours. 2 of them the exact same strategy, and the third one, you actually had to go out and fight triple aces, and you lost. And against a triple aces list, you should have done exactly what you were doing. And that tells me that he was talked to. He says, you're going to get an infraction, or you're going to get this, or you're going to get banned. I'd like to say that they threw the hammer at him, because he did not. He sat in the corner for one turn and then he came out. And
So
I just, as a player who knows X-Wing, right? And this guy knows X-Wing. Like, this was not his first tournament.
Oh yeah, he's been
You
playing this
don't
list for a
bring-
while and implementing
Right.
the strategy.
You
for a
don't bring
while.
4 Star Vipers with crack shot to your first tournament. That's not your first tournament list. You knew what you were doing. You knew how your win conditions, and you knew that in this meta, that is tractor beams and it's this. I mean, granted, the meta was wide open, but why wouldn't you? There's 4 3-gun ships that can sit in a corner and have crack shot.
Yeah, and then when they finally engage, it's actually really hard to get half points on them.
It's super fucking hard to hit them
because they're 3 agility.
they just
They
leave.
you need to do 3 damage to have them.
Yep.
yep,
It's
and
the same
then
thing gotta do
you
to-
need a 3 to have them, and you need to make sure all of your guns are actually pointed on the same one to get that 3 without giving up like one of your ships or half of a ship that's likely worth more.
Right.
Mhm.
It was the perfect storm, right? It was.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure if he was losing on final salvo dice, I can't confirm this, but my guess is based upon the strategies he's implemented so far, he would also stall. Maybe if he got some advantage position, he would then pounce later on in the game.
Any pound. And Star Vipers can pounce.
That is
Holy
what
shit, can they
occurred
pounce?
in that hyperspace trial versus the Sinker Swarm is they did nothing for 60 minutes, and then with 15 minutes to go, they turned in, and this player got like killed Sinker and then just won the game because there wasn't time left. So
Yep. He just went for the late points gain that he can say, I can gain more points than you can in the small amount of time.
Yeah.
And that's how I'll win.
And there are games where you can do that and not stall. But in this case, it was stalling. And I think Mark Stewart in chat said it in very few words. Well, not engaging is not equal to stalling.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a game where you choose to engage on your own terms versus your opponent's turns without stalling. These games weren't streamed, but if any of you listening watched my B-Wing games from the first chance qualifier on Sunday, I very much let my opponents come to me, but I wasn't stalling. I was being cautious with the lane I was picking and leaving myself options to go around my cornered obstacle. So yeah, when the engagement happened, my B-Wings were only like range 2.5 of my board edge, but I was actively playing the game and positioning them for a lane. So there's a big difference between that and just stalling.
Yeah. My final opponent in Swiss, the guy with Po 3As, he weaved his way around me, engaged in key turns where he could and left where he needed to. And that it's not stalling.
Exactly.
He picked his turns to go in and leave. Always had a leaving route.
Mhm.
It didn't feel great to play against because I never feel like I could pin something down, but that's on his ability to get that done. Right.
Yeah, his intent was to try to win the game, not in the last 5 minutes. So it
Yeah,
all
he
comes down to
was
player
still
intent.
trying to win on very minimal amounts of points, but that was throughout the duration of the game.
But his intent was to engage you, but you were also preventing him from doing a more full-on engage. So then you end up in that weird situation where, he has to like hit and run a bunch, which I think is totally viable. You're right that it kind of feels bad, like it's not as much fun of a game as a normal game, but sometimes that happens, and it's a completely different game than someone who actually just sits in their corner.
Right. Of course, you can recommend a solution, Tim, but my catching him with the smoking gun said it was the Ollie match. I mean, if any round where what did he say?
So Tim's
Oh
solution,
shit,
I'm not sure if this will work,
dude, I like
it is
it.
fun.
Dude, I like it.
If I could just
Tim-
drop a proton
Tim-
bomb with a fuse anywhere.
Yep.
Be hilarious.
I mean, so one big thing.
I think
That
that
could
should be in
help
a
sell-
game everywhere. Just like, oh, that'd be great. You have an acrylic proton bomb right? And you just every game,
Each
hey
player
guys, this is
drop
the
a
round, and you
bomb
just
on the table
the
next
judge just has a whole stack of proton bombs and just goes around and puts them.
Yeah. I think one overall thing that might help stalling, fortressing, going to time like across the board, those scenarios coming out. Be nice if objective play was actually something considered for competitive, but I believe the last stream FFG did when they were asked about it is they currently don't have plans to make scenarios competitive, which makes me sad because I would wish that objectives in that format in general could be utilized competitively to force more true game resolution engagements.
The unfortunate truth with like mission scenario type things is they can tend to be asymmetrical in terms of squads. So I could see the argument of it not being fair to have scenarios when some ships are like bad at them, but also that's just a meta shift. Like that's fine. So
Yeah.
Oh man, can we have
I'm
red,
on the-
red cards for fortressing, yellow cards for stalling?
so I'm on
Yes, we should.
Ryan, where I would like there to be an official like system in the game that just makes it so players don't want to stall. I would prefer something like objectives or scenarios that more or less force you to engage or lose the game over just an arbitrary paragraph in a rules book saying a marshal has the right to like warn you if you're stalling. Because that's too nebulous and there's no way to define it.
It would be
You can't put intent on it. So
it would be as simple as like, hey, and I know people don't like to keep track of turns, but like, hey, if you're still in your deployment zone in turn 3, you take a damage.
Yeah, I mean,
And then every round after that, turn 4 you take 2, turn 5 you take 3. It's like, hey, man, you can move out and then in, right? But somebody will find a way to exploit that. But if you fuck up on your dial placements or something, you're like, oh shit, I'm still in range 1 of my deployment zone. There's a damage. But
it's what I would call the Fortnite rule, where you close the barrier.
You close the barrier, right? Yeah. But again, that's adding more rules and it's adding more game state and it's adding more this and it's. I'm just glad that FFG, and I wish they, I hope the community knows that he did get a talking to. Like, even though I don't have specifically words from his mouth or a judge's mouth, it had to have changed.
I'm glad that Fantasy Flight Games at least is aware
of it.
This type of situation.
Yep.
And it seems like they want to take steps to improve player experience regarding situations like this.
Is this Dialgate? No, not even close. Like Dialgate was way up here.
That's
okay. Now that I think about it,
there's, I mean,
at least he only cheated himself out of one game.
Have legit aftermath that feels on the negative side of things, right?
Yeah, at least, I mean, this one, he went all the way through Swiss. He went all the way through the top 32. He went all the way up to top 8 doing the same thing. And hell, he went all the way to top 4 and did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's not up for us to decide. We just bitch about it.
Correct. We drink and speak our minds.
We drink and bitch. So
we drink and we know things.
I will say, I think the OCX cast just had a more cordial discussion about this situation than most other people in the X-Wing community.
Yeah, I mean, granted, we all have our opinions.
You saying we didn't go full crate on him?
And we all generally think this guy knew exactly what he was doing. He took advantage of the situation because FFG judges and rulings at the time did not have enough teeth in the beginning of it, and eventually maybe they did.
Am I going to say that we should go, persecute this guy online? No, like the guy gamed the system. He got away with it for a very, very long time. Like, hey, good for you, dude. I guess
I mean,
if you wanted your opponents to feel like shit while you're playing a game, hey, you do you. But I'm just glad he got caught.
Yeah,
know?
realistically, it's not all hate the player. It's hate the situation that was
Yeah.
there.
He took
he was.
advantage of it.
Mhm.
Trying to go back in that guy's mind is like, hey, I might as well try it, right? It's fucking Worlds. It's
Mhm.
almost like every game is like, holy shit, he didn't call a judge on me. Holy shit, he didn't call a judge on me. Holy fuck, I'm in the top 8. Nobody's called a judge.
Mhm.
Oh, like I said, I like to call him a whistleblower instead of the other names that I've heard of.
Sure.
So, but
All
anyway,
right.
I think this was the cleanest, best Worlds we've had in a very long time. I think 2014 was probably the best Worlds ever. And then it got big, and then everyone bought a microphone. And I think this was a pretty good one, guys.
Out of the 3 I've been to, I'd say it was the best one.
I would say this was the second best best one. 2014 was awesome, but yeah, this wait, was I even at 2014? Shit, I don't even know. Oh god, it was great. It is 20 to midnight. We'll give us 20 more minutes. Look at Coach going past his bedtime.
Let's just do shout outs.
We do shout outs?
Yeah. I don't know, was there a last thing you wanted to hit at all?
I have more of a lighthearted note.
All I know is I was not prepared for like so many X-Wing events to be scheduled like right after Worlds. Like, holy shit, there's the fucking Kappa Cup. There's the shit.
St. Louis
one. There's LVO. There's fun note. Somebody told me the Las Vegas Open is at the same time as the Adult Film Awards.
What?
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah.
No, please no.
So I want to get T-shirts called the My Knockers Squadron. I heard that's a thing. So
Crossroads Classic is in December.
Crossroads Classic coming up. What's the other one?
Store Champs starting up.
Renegade Open in Minnesota.
Renegade Open. Don't forget about that one.
November 23rd.
Yeah,
I just registered today. It's gonna be
that's
real
like
fun.
right around the corner. God damn.
The best part: free beer all day.
Whoa.
Whoa. Coach got to make
Whoa.
an addition to his calendar.
God damn. November, it's a month. It's not even a month. It's like,
yeah, I'm gonna be there. It's a pod format, so you can kind of just.
I love pod formats.
Coach,
and there's a lot of prizes and free. It's great.
Coach, it's just like Campaign Against Cancer format.
Yeah, basically.
I know, and I love that format.
Well, then show up.
I might have to do that.
Free beer.
November 21st.
How can you
free beer? How the fuck do I pass up free beer?
Well,
there's no way. There's no way my wife can say no to that.
You're gonna quickly make them find out if free beer is a good thing to advertise.
My credit card's gonna take a hit on that day. Oh
yeah, Tim Rouse mentioned the PTL Open in Toronto.
Oh shit,
23rd.
that's right. That's November 23rd. Oh, Australian Nationals in 2 weeks. What the shit,
Lord? What is
like happening? I said? Like I just remember scrolling through Facebook. I'm like, what the fuck? There's like 7 events going on.
Yeah. It's gonna be a fun winter.
I'm glad I have a little bit of a break. I'm not going to anything until maybe Crossroads.
I'm doing Renegade and Crossroads for sure. But those are probably the only 2 bigger ones I'm doing coming up.
I'm going to have to show up for Renegade. Maybe.
Is Renegade streaming?
Be a surprise of it.
Probably not streaming. Well, that said, last year, Kevin and Jake were there, and I think they recorded for Echo Base, maybe. So maybe they streamed.
Echo Base will be all over that.
Speaking of recording, the amount of content from Worlds.
Oh my god!
I heard this. I heard this stat.
It's staggering for Echo Base, for Gold Squadron. So
what did I hear? You could watch an X-Wing game a day until January 1st, 2020.
It's a lot. And for people who are unaware, Dion set up the first official X Zone It's like the NFL Red Zone, but with X-Wing. He'd have a main game going on. Anytime they went to planning phase or they had a stoppage, they could cut over, and a guy had their editor had clips prepared for big things happening in the other two games.
They were literally showing replays on the stream on Twitch. It was amazing.
Dion put in a lot of work, and he showed up as patient zero of the con crud. So he worked through sickness and delivered great television level content. Like, we're talking ESPN. The Dion Morales.
I got beef.
Oh, geez.
That fucking guy, Dion Morales, ruined watching any other X-Wing event for me forever.
Because I want
Fucking ruined it. Do you know how captivating that was Wednesday and Thursday watching the fucking... I'm like, oh. And all of a sudden the fucking GSP logo goes by. I'm like, oh, what's going on here? It's like they're rolling this. And then all of a sudden it goes back and I'm like, oh my God, he made that move. I'm like, because we all know watching X-Wing's fun. And I can't stand watching recorded games, but live X-Wing is just awesome. And he took it to up here. And I'll never be able to go back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, unless there's 3 games streaming at the same time with GSP logos going back, I don't know how my attention span's not going to be able to keep up. It was fantastic. I'm like, oh, the guy is a goddamn saint. Saint Dion. I'm labeling it right now. It was so awesome. And the whole pit, I mean, give it up to every announcer. I mean, and there's the other thing, right? Because all the announcers, he had 2 guys per stream for 3 streams.
Nami killed it.
Oh, yeah,
Nami,
he definitely killed it.
Nami and Ace of Graph. Oh, yeah, jeez.
Fucking Nami live mic.
Fuck you. Wait, what?
Motherfucker.
Motherfucker. He
damn
went full motherfucker on that one. And it,
Yep.
oh, God, I wish I was there in person. I go, hey, Nami, heard you fucked up. He's like, I don't want to talk about it.
Join the ranks, Nami.
Oh.
Join the ranks of inappropriate things on GSP.
But not only to Dion, but the guys he got which are top-notch freaking talent. I mean, they were recognizable voices, and they knew everything. I mean, they knew what they were talking about. But to have them devote that much time to just live streaming, and especially with the 3 different tables, they had to be just talking about the game, and they weren't even on live. Like,
it'd still be recorded and posted.
It's
later.
still recorded. I get that, but I mean, it's so weird because
Yep,
they're still talking and they don't even know if they're live or not. But it was, the guy has outdone himself once again. I don't like the logo, Dion. I don't like the logo. I'll be the first one to say
I
it.
do.
I don't like the logo.
I think it's cool.
But I understand why he did it, because it's super non-confrontational with anything Star Wars. But it was great. It was awesome. I'm not even bummed at all that I didn't get asked to stream, because I'd have ruined Nami Lee's freaking record. Like, there was no way. I was perfectly content in my 2 days at Worlds. I didn't play a single game of X-Wing, but man, did I talk to a lot of people. And there's no way I can say
you got
thanks to everyone.
Over.
Oh my God, I slept in my truck. I slept more in a truck in the last night, or that last weekend, than I have in a long time. But that was my own undoing. So, but also to Mark Stewart. Okay, this was the great thing too, right? You had GSP, who is like out there crushing it, right? And then Mark is there, and everyone knew, like, hey, let's go to X-Wing Junkies, because everything flies there, right?
Oh yeah,
there's no censorship there.
they had the 10-man aces high with Tyler
Oh,
Tippett
my goodness.
shotgunning a beer after he won.
It was awesome. Like it was the best. Huge props to Mark Stewart at X-Wing Junkies. He took the role as you know, not ESPN, but you're kind of like the Ocho kind of a thing, but you made it your own. And I had as much fun watching that, probably more fun, because that was raw X-Wing, right? Like GSP was sit on your hands, be polite, this and that. X-Wing was like what we all, or X-Wing Junkies was what we all know. Like it's just random people showing up, no censors. It was great. He's got a great following. If you're not following X-Wing Junkies, why are you not doing that? Because he does a fantastic job.
Yeah. Then later in like day 1A, or it was day 1B, like somehow they had the Simeon versus Uncle Mark game on X-Wing Junkies.
The Twitch clip. I will give 10 whoopies for whoever Twitch clips this one. And he got Uncle Mark to I guess we could call that belly dancing. I mean, he had the belly for it, but
it was
awesome.
Interesting.
It was great. I had so much fun. Yep, all those guys. Yeah, that Aces High tournament, that was pure gold for X-Wing Junkies, because he wasn't allowed to stream the top 8, or he didn't get a table in the top 8 or whatever. It's like, fuck it. I'll get some of the best known names in X-Wing, and we'll just play an Aces High, and I'll stream that. I think for a moment he probably had more views than GSP or FFG did. So
man, the Destiny players in the background had no idea what was going on.
That clip was so funny. They're like, "What is this guy doing?" He's shotgunning a beer.
Like, why is he having fun?
Yeah.
What's he doing having fun? It's just a competitive event. And there goes Coach. He's frozen.
Yep.
Sweet.
Froze.
Oh, he's good. He's back now.
Oh. God, this is bullshit, man. Anyway.
Hey, everything else seems to have been pretty clean, though. Like, no one's complained about Echo. No one's complained about robot voice. So,
hey, if I have to drop out every like hour and a half or so, I think that's just a betterment for the community. But shout outs, Sarah. You want to do shout outs? You have a special one, you said.
Did I say I have a special one? Oh yeah.
Or a cute one or something like that. I don't know.
No, I said I had a lighthearted note, but I think that would take potentially too long to go into detail. But I will
fuck it, just go for it.
On Sunday in the first chance qualifier, I put a meme list on the table, and I had so much fun. So I think I'm one of the uber competitive players where I'm playing to win. Ultimately, I still want to have fun playing the game. I still want to talk to people. But like, if I go to Worlds and go 3-3 and miss day 2, that is a failure to me. So I think it's important sometimes, if you kind of have the same mindset as me, to just put a for fun list on the table once in a while and try it out. I was running B-Wings with Jan Ors just so I could roll 5 dice. I just wanted to roll 5 dice. And it was fun. So now that we've ended the World Championships and we have a lot of events coming up where every player has the right to try to be competitive.
We're free.
I think it's just really important for players to maybe go to your local game store and just put a for fun list on the table. Play Han and Luke, play Dash, play 4 TIE interceptors. I don't care. Just do what's fun at least once.
Lieutenant Catskill.
This game.
I can't tell you how many people at Worlds were like, dude, I wanted to see the triple Shadowcasters. I was like, I know, I wanted to play the triple Shadowcasters.
Yeah.
But stupid fucking work. Oh well.
Oh, I still need to get new B-Wing models.
Yeah. I got one. It's really fancy. I love it. So shout out to FFG for making really good models now, I guess.
That Plo Koon is cool.
Oh, man, yeah. For actual shout outs, though, shout out to the whole Twin Cities X-Wing scene. You guys are amazing. you're really supportive. I had so many players come up to me on like Saturday and just like, hey, like you did good, gave me a hug, gave me a fist bump, whatever they were comfortable with. Because I was kind of down in the dumps after I lost. Like I was happy for Paul, but I was not in a good mood. So
Down in the dumps is not exactly how it was described to me.
Hey,
She will rip your face off if you mention dice variants, is what I was told.
Jesus. I wasn't that upset, but I was really upset. So I mean, Carson Ray, Tim Dugan, Andy Myers, any other like locals that were around were keen to come up and like just like hug me, like, hey, it's okay, like you done good, kid. So I see Andy was in the chat earlier, and he thanked you two specifically for making it to Worlds.
Me?
Yeah, he thanked both of you
Aw.
for coming to the Twin Cities.
Heart.
So you could say hi to you guys.
Heart.
He is like the most wholesome player in Minneapolis, in the entire X-Wing scene.
Oh.
Mhm.
It was fun.
So thank you to everyone who was willing to basically comfort me after I lost and got really upset.
I was the first one because we were on stream next to each other.
We were, and we kind of looked at each other and we're like,
We're like,
too?
we're like, we both lost, but hey, we both did good. Fist bump.
Fist bump.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. So it's just hard to keep that in perspective when you're the one losing.
Yes.
Loss feels bad, regardless if it's like top 32 or day one in Swiss. It just feels bad. So
Wouldn't know. Never made it that high.
Coach is technically undefeated.
It's
That
true. At
weekend.
Worlds. Well, no.
mhm.
No, you're technically undefeated at Worlds 2019.
Oh, 2019, yes.
Yeah. You didn't
Technically,
lose.
yeah.
In fact, I actually went up to Oliver. I was like, dude, just going to let you know this is an illegitimate win because I was not in the contest.
I was never in the running.
He laughed. He's like, I know, coach. I know.
You're like, but seriously, face me with the Shadowboard.
But seriously, if I was in there, I'd have won the whole thing. And the world would have burned.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We all would have questioned our life choices.
What are we doing? Why are we in this game?
What has happened? We're smarter than
Coach is
this.
2019 world champion with 3 Shadowcasters. What the fuck?
It would be enough to convince me I'm actually living in the Matrix.
I would instantly make the meme where it's like Obi-Wan and Anakin stuck in like that Ray shield thing, but it'd be shield made of like Shadowport hunters and
We're
coaches.
smarter than this.
Shadowport hunters and coach faces.
With my face on all the roller droids.
Yep.
Oh God, that would have been great. Oh well. Next year, baby. I like to win things on even years anyway, so
No,
There you
you're
go.
gonna have to beat me next year, Coach.
finals. Oh, that would be fun. It's straight shots time then.
FFG has you on stream. I'm not sure if they're letting you do that.
No, so Duncan needs a World's win, and I really want a World's win. That's our finals next year. Me and Duncan. Calling it.
I'll crush you both on the way to the top of the mountain.
You have to go through me.
That is 50% true. Either Duncan or myself would have to go through you.
Oh no. I'll knock Duncan out in top 8, knock you out in top 4.
Oof.
And then
Oh,
top ski in the finals.
the OCX off.
Yes.
Honestly, though, I would be thrilled to just make it to day 2 again next year. So
That's always the goal. Just keep it simple. Make day 2 everything gravy.
I'm gonna try to play in Worlds next year.
goal.
Coach's goal. Play. Mark Stewart declares 2020 the year of the Canadians.
Ooh.
I mean, Kalen was close. Kalen Wong was close.
He was this close.
It's the resistance.
It's the resistance.
It's the resistance. One of the most fun things of the entire weekend in my mind.
Truly won the hearts of the crowd.
Yep.
Like, it literally took me 2 games of Kalen Wong to realize why we're screaming it's the resistance. The first time I'm like, it's the resistance. Jeremy Chambly told me to say it. And then I'm like, oh, it's the fucking card. I get it now. Because he was told that he had to look up to the balcony on the second one.
And the
when
last
before he
one was the
gonna say
loudest
it,
one, yeah.
so we could do it all in unison. It was pretty funny. Topski, shout outs.
I'd like to give a shout out to all the Michigan guys that made it up there, and former Michigan guys. I know Preston, he did really well at Nova, kept it going with Han Jake. Believe he almost was really close to day 2, but missed out. I unfortunately had to go through the guy who went with me on the plane, Mark Grauberg, and I had to go through Nate Bacon in the top cut. Good thing that it wasn't too much in vain because I still made it decently far. And for the people who I did beat on my elimination run through the submarine, everyone was a great opponent. I loved all of our games, even the final one. As I said, it was tense, and at the end, we had civil conversation and just chatted about the games. But I made sure that anyone who I beat along the way, they're like, you better make it all the way. And I'm like, all right. And in my mind, the entire day, I was like, I'm going to make it to freaking 4-2, and I'm going to lose the last one. My dream is going to be crushed making the full submarine, but ended up working out. Big shout out to everyone who was in the Airbnb with me, who bought in on the room and the place. Josh Kiefer, Mark Grauberg, Hassan Khan, Kevin Lyons, and Dan Sheev. Got to meet Dan Sheev for the first time. He's a cool dude who kind of does a lot of list building ideas with Kevin Lyons, apparently. They practiced a ton heading up into Worlds. He's from the Arizona region. He won a hyperspace trial out there with a very cool first order squad that I was trying out on the pods during the weekend, which was Kylo, 2 SFs, Scorch, and a cadet. Just 5 ship FO with one of them Kylo. And thanks to FFG and the judges for as much as we've kind of talked about them in the Viper thing. We also just really appreciate all the work that they do throughout the weekend to make our games as best as possible.
I'm going to not do shout outs, but I'm going to give out clout points.
Jeez.
So 5 clout points goes out to Marcus from Australia. Clout points go out to 5 to Carlos, and Steve. 10 clout points go out to Jeff for taking that amazing picture. I'm going to give -3 clout points to Ben Keller because I don't know how he got an OCX koozie that he posted on our Facebook page for his first post on there. But I don't know how the fuck you got that. But you claim it gives you 10, so I'm minusing 3. Just
So
for
yeah,
your conduct.
7
Just for your
total.
conduct alone at Worlds, -3 points. 10 points go to Mark Stewart. Let's see. Let's go with 5 points Josh Kiefer because he was so busy playing X-Wing all weekend that he could barely hang out with me. But he did. I did get my Kiefer hug. So 20 clout points go out to Donald because I did get to see him. I did get to hug him, and I told him I had his shirt, but he didn't come out to the bar in time, so I couldn't give him my shirt. So, but he still gets 20 clout points. Let's see. Who else do I got here? I got one more. Oh, Craig Murphy and Richard. Craig and Richard, and I think the other guy's name was Lucas. You guys get 50 clout points because Matt Schluter decided to wake my ass up, who I was still sleeping in the truck Saturday morning at 9:45, says, Coach, you can either come with me to the event or you can stay here and shower and do whatever and then meet us later. I said, huh? No, I'll go with you. And in the OCX chat, I says, I need a shower. And this was at 9:45 in the morning. and Richard and Craig says, gave me their hotel number at the Hampton. And we went up and showered in their hotel room. And fucking bailed then. And so 50 points to you guys. That was fucking amazing. Let's see. Who else do I owe cloud points to? Thwoop. Can't forget the Thwoop. Jeremy.
Got to meet Thwoop in person.
I'll give Thwoop like oh no. This is okay. So Thwoop also gets 50 points. Nah, he gets 30 points. Because he had quite possibly the greatest X-Wing moment in my entire life. So I am sitting with Jeremy Chambly and Ben Keller's in front of me. And Thwoop comes in and sits next to Jeremy Chambly. And he's like, hey, man, I'm Jeremy. And I'm Jeremy. Oh, we're friends now. And
That's
I
what
don't
dream
know.
name people do.
I don't know if Keller introduced himself or not, but it was like the three of them were like just a riot. They were having way too much fun. And I'm just sitting behind him, just laughing my ass off. But Thwoop had to leave. And so they all got up. They're like, yeah, good to see you. Good to see you. Thwoop goes to Ben Keller and goes, hey, man, sorry, I forgot your name. And I fucking lost it. The loudest mouth of worlds, Ben Keller. And this guy's like, I forgot who you are. Can you remind me?
Yeah. And then Ben's like, oh, my clout. No.
My clout. I'm all out of clout. So plus 30 to the Thwoop master. He gets some good points there. I know I'm missing a bunch of people. Robert, you also get some points. I'll throw 5 your way because you were feeling like shit, but you bested it out at Worlds on Saturday night. 100 points goes to Oliver for winning the whole fucking thing. So if you guys are keeping track at home, if you get to 100 points, you're just as good as a Worlds 2019 winner. I think that's all the points I'm going to give out tonight. I'll think of more next weekend or next week. But
What about these two people?
you don't get shit.
Oh,
You got a full-fledged congratulations from me. That's like worth thousands of cloud points.
oh, so we have thousands of cloud points. So we're hundreds.
Here's
of
your
cloud
one
points.
clout point.
Okay, you each get 32 cloud points. That's as far as you made it.
Okay. Wait. So if we got to top 8, we would get less cloud points.
Yep, that's how
Yep.
it works. That's how
Okay.
cloud works. You can't.
That's
you
why
can't-
Coach has so much clout. He's
You can't
always lower in the
socialize.
rankings.
You can't socialize when you're playing the damn game.
Mm-hmm.
Like Oliver got 100 points because everybody just knows who he is now. Oh, Tommy, can I get 128 cloud points? No, you can't get on. I'll give you 2. Tommy gets 2.
Oh, Tommy always gets 2.
For chat, baby. You get 2 for the chat. That's it. Oh, that was fun.
All right. We got a
Yup.
sign of it.
Oh, hey, guys, if you have any complaints or concerns about our mental stability or our ability to perform a podcast, please email them to ocxradio@gmail.com. I'm sure somebody will read them. If you guys are bored and don't want to be a crate, you can join the OCX Facebook page, the OCX Forever Facebook page, which is always slightly fun, full of content, and will never make you question your humanity. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the OCX Radio Podcast, and we'd like to end this with the Yub Dub!
Yeah. We went to Worlds now.
We didn't even talk about the trailer.
The what?
Save it for later.
Such a good trailer.
I mean, we
Okay.
can talk about the trailer now.
1 out of 10. What did you guys think of the trailer?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Wow.
I don't know.
That's high.
No, honestly, as far as trailers go, 8 out of 10. I'm glad they didn't really spoil many things.
Mm-hmm.
Because supposedly, like, that doesn't reveal the plot at all. But it also in
super
terms of
doesn't.
Yeah,
how
like
trailers go, like there were some kind of cheesy shots where I'm like, I wonder how this is gonna make sense in the movie.
well, yeah, like now I kind of understand why it's going to be the longest Star Wars film at 2 hours and 35 minutes
Wait, it's that
because
long?
Yeah,
there's
it's good.
so
Bitch be long.
because there's like so many different things we're seeing and so many of them are like huge in scale of what's happening. It's like how do we get from here to here to here to here? I don't
yeah,
know.
it's gonna be long, like intermission, almost long.
Nah. It's only 2 hours and 35 minutes.
Okay, so I watched the trailer and then of course I went back and watched like the 20 like what did you miss in the trailer Easter egg kind of thing.
I haven't done one of those yet.
And the only interesting thing that really stood out to me was when Kylo and Rey are busting that statue apart.
Mm-hmm.
Rey has a dagger in her hand.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it looks awfully familiar of the dagger that Obi-Wan had in the Clone Wars and that has been associated with the father, the brother, and the sister, like the Force Triangle thing.
Mortis Arc or whatever it was called.
Yeah. And I'm like,
So,
whoa.
it's like an artifact, yeah.
Are they going to go that deep? Like,
Who
I hope
knows?
so.
Do you see all the different kinds of ships that were in that formation?
I
There's
know,
a lot
but
of
it's
stuff that
like
aren't in the movies.
if they're going into like, because that, if you guys haven't seen it, if you haven't seen the episode of Clone Wars where Anakin and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka are like, they meet the quintessential personifications of the Force.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is a mind-blowing episode.
Oh, it was a series of episodes, wasn't just one.
Yeah, it was a series of episodes. And then
3.
Rebels tie it back into that as well.
A little bit, yeah.
And if the fucking Skywalker saga ends with that mythology, I might lose it.
It'd be hard for the average moviegoer though to retie that back in if it's a large part of it though.
Yeah, see that's the thing. Like there's a lot of explanation that goes into that. Like
The way they frame it in the movie is like, oh, Rey needs this sweet like weapon to help combat the dark side of the Force. Cool, she found a weapon.
Yeah,
And
you
they probably
could
touch on the significance of the weapon.
and that's probably what they're gonna do.
But that's fine. I'm really glad they're tying in things like this.
I am too. I'm super excited. I don't know, man. It's bittersweet for me. Like
I'm gonna cry so much.
the last Star Wars, like this is it for Skywalkers. Like this is it.
God, the C-3PO scene.
Okay, that's a red. If it's in a trailer, it's a red herring.
Probably. But like the immediate memes that came up where it's like showing the guy that's like lay down, trying not to cry.
Girls cry, boys cry, men cry. It's like
Speculation is that because like some of the promo images had 3PO like wielding weapons, that scene is like them like reprogramming him rather than like destroying him. So maybe he comes back at the end.
Yeah, it seems like he's gonna get a little bit of an upgrade / reprogram to actually have
3PO's got to die.
Or maybe the reprogram happens and it turns out his personality is fine and it's complete red herring and like comedy moment in the movie or something. Who knows?
What if they implement 000 into his programming? He's red eyes.
Oh shit!
I'm going 3PO dies. 3PO like saves everyone. Like he mind links into like everything that's controlling the whole fleet of Star Destroyers, and he just fucking self-destructs them all. But it kills him in the thing, and there's like flashbacks of him and Anakin, and him and Luke, and him, and I'm gonna fucking lose it if that happens.
What's the biggest character that you can see dying?
3PO.
You say 3PO.
3PO is like an iconic Star Wars character.
He's the only one that's been there for every single one. Well, except for R2.
Yep.
Well, and R2 will be the one that passes the message off.
Mhm.
Oh, I don't know.
Besides
happen.
potentially 3PO, because I'm not sure if I want to commit to thinking 3PO will die or not. I could see Kylo and or Poe biting a bullet.
You know, that's a non-starter for me. I mean, I love the characters, but like 3PO, if this is gonna be the bow on the whole thing, right?
I don't think they could pick a sadder
Three-
death.
3PO dies. 3PO dies.
That's like the way to get the most emotional response
Oh my
from the
God.
audience.
Oh my God. I will rewatch episodes 1, 2, and 3 with like the greatest freaking grief I've ever known, and it will probably change my attitude of all 3 films. Because if I was directing it, 3PO dies, and there is like, you bring Hayden back for a montage. You don't go with the old stock footage. You bring him back. You go through all of what 3PO has experienced, like all of it. And that's gonna be a tough 5 minutes. Not gonna lie. You reshoot everything. You reshoot Anakin, you reshoot Luke, you reshoot, Rey and Finn and all those. That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough. But that's the only legitimate way that you can spark that big of an emotion from someone like me. Like 3PO just sacrifices himself, saves everyone. R2D2's slow fucking beep is gonna make me weep like a little baby.
Oh, it's little.
Yep. It's I'm already fucking tearing up now.
It might not even happen.
I know, but that's the way it should.
Like
I'm
R2's
sorry.
realization that C-3PO is
And
gone.
like he'll just fucking nudge him like every once in a while, like a dog, like checking to see if his owner's still alive or not. Oh, it's gonna fucking happen. I know it.
I don't need to cry tonight.
Oh man, that's the way I would do it. That's the way I would do it. That would, God damn it, that would fucking, there would not be a dry eye in the house. That would bring it to an end. That would be fucking
Coach,
amazing.
did you note the commercial time and the at least the end time of the stream?
Nope.
The up time.
Well, I have my arms raised, so you can go through the YouTube video.
Probably about 3 hours,
around
30 minutes.
3 hours and 30 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
No, I don't know, man. Episode 9 is gonna be tough for me because I don't want it to end. I definitely don't want it to end like fucking Game of Thrones, and I think JJ is gonna do it well. He's gonna do it the fan service, but in a directorial, it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be good. We'll nitpick it to fucking the nth degree. I know we will. That's because what we do. But I still think I hope they send it off well. It's the last fucking movie. I mean, I know Star Wars isn't dead, but Skywalkers are done.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. It's like literally 37 years of my life ending. What the fuck? Come on. No, now I'm a little depressed. That sucks. But Mandalorian, holy shit. Dude, Bill Burr's in it. I know I mentioned this before, but like he's my spirit animal. Like I'm super excited. How is Bill Burr in a fucking Star Wars movie? I don't understand that one.
I need to sleep.
Yep, it's bedtime. All right, guys. Good night. Thanks for watching.
Good
Thanks
night,
for having me on.
chat.
See you next week.
End stream button.